feel it, baby. I do too. Just like Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch said, it's time for some good vibrations. What's up, everybody? It's good to see you tonight. Glad that you guys decided to join us here tonight for the Poindexter Lounge. Tonight we got some fun stuff to talk about. That's right. We're going to talk about some good old-fashioned news and fun. Happy 100th birthday to Stan Lee. New documentary is going to be coming out on Disney+. We're going to talk about that. Also, Gal Gadot goes fast again. What? You mean she's actually going to go and be in another Fast and Furious movie? Well, you know what? I think she'll probably bring something back to the franchise. Also, who's the best wrestler turned actor? Come on. Everybody's got their opinion on that. And that Green Lantern show, that's still a go? That's still going to happen? Who knows? All this and more. Some of your calls. Let's get your opinions on some of this stuff tonight here on the Poindexter Lounge. So sit back, relax, crack open a ice cold Dr. Pepper. I got my coffee. I got my Magic 8 Ball. I got my evil Kermit puppet. I got a bunch of toys to show you. Little Betty White-isms, and we'll have a good night. So stay tuned here on the Poindexter Lounge. Invite somebody over. Tell somebody right now if they need to be over here right now. Let's do it. What's up, nerd family? Oh, hold on a second. Welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. My name is Enosh, aka Enosh Fett, and it is great to have you with me in the lounge tonight. Are you ready to do this thing? Just like the old times, just like the old days, we're here to have some fun. We're here to talk movie news, entertainment news. We're going to talk about all the fun stuff tonight. All right, and just have a good time. You good with that? Can we do that? Is that all right? Do we need permission to do that from anybody? I don't know. I'm feeling in a very festive mood this week. I don't know why, but I'm in a good mood tonight. Everything says that I shouldn't be in a good mood tonight, but we'll get into that in a minute. But first of all, if this is your first time to the lounge, just know that the Poindexter Lounge is a place for nerds. It's a place where you and me and all of us can get together and talk about the things that we love. Things like TV shows, movies, games, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books, superheroes, toys, and so much more. And if those things that get you excited, then guess what? You found the right place. You're at the right place. Let's do this. Let's make a connection. All right, we'd love to have you here. So thank you guys for being here. And look, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, all that fun stuff, because that's what YouTube makes you do. It's no longer good enough, like I said, just to hit subscribe for some reason. You would think that one button would be all you need, but nope. Apparently, you got to hit like 3 buttons. And so we appreciate all of you who support the lounge. And make your presence known. Thank you guys so much for all your support over the last few years, man. You guys helped me through COVID. I mean, you know, a lot of you guys have reached out and said, oh, you know, Enosh, you don't understand how much you and other, you know, streamers have helped us through COVID and through all these different things, you know, giving us something to do nightly and making us feel good about what was going on and everything. And I got to say, you guys helped me get through that time, and get through that time where we couldn't. Remember when we were all locked down, we couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. And it's really good to have you guys in my life. And when I see you guys in the chat and I see your names pop up and I see the things that you guys comment and say, it just means a lot to me. So thank you just for watching. But also I want to say thank you to everyone who supports the channel. You guys are fantastic. You're awesome. We can't do this without you. I mean, we really can't. And it just means a lot to me. Yeah, hey, RJ, if you want a link, man, hit me up, man. Hit me up. Yeah, 2 nights in a row, man. 2 nights in a row of Enosh. Look, we're going into a new year, 2023. And I just see great things on the horizon for us. But thank you to all of the members. Thank you to all of the patrons. Thank you to everyone who gives super chats and all of you who reach out, especially this time of year. It was nice. Some of you guys reached out and you did this because you say, you don't want to go through the YouTube channels, but you want to be able to support the lounge. And I appreciate that for sure. And so there are ways that you can do that down in the description below. Also, we do have a plethora of fun stuff on the store. Like I said, new stuff. We'll show you a couple of those things later if you haven't seen it. But yeah, we got some fun stuff, some fun new stuff, and we got more new stuff coming. Even more new designs and more new cool things. So there you go. Also, so thank you to all those people. Making sure that I got all that out of the way. I see Ryan is here, and I did thank Ryan for this already, but I'm starting this right here. My Hero Academia, Ryan Hartwell in the chat right now. Ryan, you're awesome, bro. Thank you so much, man, for sending me this. A lot of people like to talk to me about, they really love anime. They love a lot of this type of stuff, and it's just traditionally it just hasn't been my thing. It just hasn't been something that I sought out. And so this was really nice. This was a really nice gift that Ryan sent to me, My Hero Academia. So thank you, Ryan. I am going to read it. I appreciate you. And yeah, the Enosh anime arc begins. Dun, dun, dun. But yeah, so that should be fun. So thanks, man. What's up, TW? What's going on, man? You doing okay? Good to see you, bro. Also, tonight, I'm actually pretty excited because tonight is the first night that I'm using my brand new microphone that my wife bought me for Christmas. I was totally shocked and surprised that she did such a thing, but she did. She bought me this brand new microphone, and so let me know if I sound any better tonight. I still have a couple of things to hook up. I'm redoing this room. I got to redo this room. I know I've talked about it for a while. I've tried to do stuff. I got tons of toys to put up, and I got to put in a mixer here right now. I'm just going directly into my computer, but I'm undoing. I got like this V-shaped desk here, and I'm going to be doing away with a lot of that stuff, and I'm just going to go to like a standard desk where I'll have just my things, and then I'll have these cases that I have the toys in. They'll go along this wall and the back wall and stuff. And I'm also going to set it up where I can do toy reviews easier, and actually have like something to stand in front of. I'll probably do it in back of one of these cases and put something over the top of it and be able to do toy reviews like that, because I want to bring you guys in this coming year. I want to really bring you guys a lot of different kind of content. I want to go back to, you guys have already seen some of this. Oh, well, hey, thank you so much, Shathish. I lost your respect. Dave Pena is a better man than you will ever be. Well, Dave Pena is a great friend of mine. And most of the time we have a lot of the same takes on stuff. So I'm sorry I lost your respect. I mean, I haven't really streamed that much in the last few months, so gosh, man, you must be butthurt over something that's way back. And you know what? All I will say is, whatever it is, I apologize. It was not my intent to lose your respect. It definitely was not. So, Satish, I am, or Satish, is it? I apologize to you, man. I will take the time out from everybody else who's watching to say I apologize for whatever it is I did to lose your respect. I'm not quite sure what that was. But if you would like to have a conversation about it, you can message me. You know, all of those things are in the description below for all of you out there who want to contact us. You can email me at poindexterlounge@gmail.com. You can, it's all that stuff right there. Satish is right there, man. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. And I will try to do better. Um, Dave likes me and I like Dave. And I mean, I'm a regular on the vodka stream, so I don't know. Hey, I don't know what Dave Pena did. Man, I'm gonna have to get a hold of Dave though, and see what he's doing to be a better man than me. Like I don't how do you judge what a better man is? Um, I don't know than I will ever be. Like I know that I'm older than him, so I mean, like um, I don't know. I don't know. Be better, Enosh. Be louder too. You know what? I think that's one of the things. That's why I've got to get Zeno. That's why I've got to hook up my mixer because right now I'm going directly through this, and I mean Dave's been on the lounge many times. Dave's been here many times. So, but the thing is that there's a lot of people who hate Dave Pena too, and I'm really surprised that somebody would be okay with Dave, but upset with me. That's where I'm kind of not understanding it. But hey, you know what? We're not going to focus on that all night. Like I said, if you would like to voice a concern to me, please, by all means, message me on any one of our given things. I would be happy to have that conversation with you. And it would actually probably help me to open up and talk to Dave a little bit. I mean, about like what he's doing that's so much better than me. I don't know. But you know what? That does bring up a great point. And that is, we've got a lot of great new designs here in the Poindexter Lounge for a lot of different T-shirts and things like that. And so, you can actually find all of those at our store. And one of them is probably relevant to what we're talking about here right now. I'm going to bring these up real quick. Hold on a second. So I'll just show you. Because I know that it's a hard thing, and I know that like a lot of people really wouldn't think about this, but there are people on the internet that just don't like me. They're just people who don't like me, and so I made a shirt about it. I know it's hard to believe, but there are some people who just don't like me, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. You know that I'm at a point now where it's like I'm not trying to impress anybody. I never really was trying to impress anybody, but now like I'm making a conscious effort to not be worried about it. Really, I am just not worried about it anymore. If you like me, great. Stick around. We'll have a great time together. If you don't, I'm sorry, but I am who I am, right? And that's all I can say about that, really. I mean, I don't know what more you want out of a YouTuber. I really don't. I don't know. And that kind of goes back to like what we were talking about last night, a little bit. And that was the idea of how far is too far, right? When we see a lot of people right now really pushing their fandom, pushing fandom to its limits to say, what's okay, what's not okay. I showed last night the picture that has been shared around, that to me is disgusting. Look, if you don't like James Gunn, don't like James Gunn. Okay. I don't like everything James Gunn does. I mean, I voiced last night that I have major concerns, but I can't win. Okay. Because if I say that I have major concerns about what James Gunn is going to do and what DC is going to be doing going forward, if I just say that I have concerns, I'm told that I'm coping. Okay, that's the gotcha word. Ooh, see, we gotcha, Enosh. Ooh, look at all the cope. You're coping because you liked Henry Cavill. I'm sorry, like, I like Henry Cavill, so I'm not just going to be happy that the guy is no longer Superman, right? But if I legitimately say, here's the thing, I have all these concerns and I'm worried about what they're going to do, but hey, I'm going to see what they're going to do, right? I'm going to see what they're going to do just like everybody else. But then if I say, but hey, I liked Peacemaker, and hey, I enjoyed the Suicide Squad, not as much as the first one. Oh, but you're coping, Enosh. Then no, I liked the second one, but not as much as the first one. And it is what it is, right? But then it's this back and forth thing. So there's just some people you're just never going to please. And so at some point you just got to ask yourself, why would I even try? You know what I mean? Why would I even continue to try to please people that don't care about me? They really don't care about me. They don't, it's the internet. And so I did see a comment. I am going to bring it up because there's some weird stuff going on. Yes, we do still have the Jawa Union label t-shirt. You can still find that in the store. Absolutely. Yeah, go check out the store. There's some good stuff in the store. We got that one, the hard not to believe. Yes, not at the Teespring store, but if you message me, you can still get a custom foil condom wrapper that says no Cavill equals no me equals no money equals Warner Brothers Discovery broke. # Henry Cavill is my Superman. I mean, for the most intimate of moments. When you need to express not only your love or your even lust for somebody, but you also need to make sure that your partner knows where you stand on the real issues of life and about actors in movies. So that is still available. There's that. You can get that in all kinds of different stuff. And so go check that out. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, there is, I shared last night a picture, that really concerned me where it was like, we're seeing death threats now to people like James Gunn and others. And that kind of stuff bothers me. That really bothers me. And I do believe that for the most part, for the longest time, it was just this, these kind of crazy out there, not too many of them, people. And I still don't consider them true people who really understand what the Snyder Cut movement was about. Because look, if they understood what the Snyder Cut movement is about, they wouldn't be making death threats, right? They wouldn't be telling people to unalive themselves. And so I'm going to stand against that all day long. All day long, I'm going to stand against that. I'm going to make my feelings on that well heard. It doesn't mean that you have to like a movie that you don't like or you don't want to like or whatever. You don't have to like anything. Nobody's forcing you to go see the movie. If you don't want to go see the movie, don't go see the movie. Don't go see anything that James Gunn puts out. Vote with your dollars. Do that. Yeah, I got a little bit of glare there. Okay. Is that better? I don't know. But yeah, vote with your dollars, right? Vote with your dollars and don't let them get your money. But there's a line that gets crossed. And I did see something. I'm going to say hi to the chat here in just a second. But I am going to bring up this photo because I saw this, and I'll be honest with you, this really bothered me today because I don't know what this means. And I shared it with a few people, and they all kind of had the same feelings is that true fans of Zack Snyder stuff, people who were really in for this for the right reasons, people who just wanted to see Zack get his movie made, people who wanted to see some good done, people who cared about his personal life and, what happened, with Autumn. Those are the good people in this. And I've met too many good. Dave Pena is one of those good people. I love Dave Pena. That's why we get along, because we share a lot of those same thoughts about those other people. Okay. right? But there are people now who have taken the Snyder Cut movement and this now restore the Snyderverse movement. And look, I was all aboard. Let's restore the Snyderverse, man. I like it. I'm not going to make any excuse for that. It's not coping. It's not wishing and oh, I'm just sitting here every day. Just, God, what am I going to do with myself if they don't bring back the Snyderverse? No, I want it. And I'm telling people that, and I will gladly give time on my channel for that and talk about that to people because that's what I love. But my God, people have taken this to such lengths now. And like I said, I used to just, I for the longest time, I've just kind of written it off and said, oh, all right, those are just some crazy people. The unfortunate thing that I'm seeing though now is that there is a growing group of people. It's like it's caught on with some people now to the point where it's damaging. And one of the key people that I talked to a key person today that was part of the Snyder movement, close to the man himself, and we were talking about this, and I shared this, what I'm about to share with you now, with them, and you know, even they said they're not real fans of this. Now, I get that. You know, if we say you're not a real fan, right? What does that even mean? It's hard to even tell nowadays. But I will say this. If you're doing things that go absolutely against, and I mean absolutely against, the very heart of what the Snyder Cut movement was, you know, of what it was about the positivity of trying to raise funds for, you know, for AFSP and do things like that. I mean, then if you're missing all that point and you're telling people to unalive themselves and you're threatening people, you don't, I don't know how you consider yourself a true fan of the man who would not approve of the things that you're doing. And no, I don't think that we need some kind of statement from Zack Snyder about these people. It just gives those people more, it gives them a voice. It gives them more voice and makes it that they're important enough that they require that. You know, I think that it's up for us as real human beings to just call it what we see it and put people in their place for it. And I saw this, and this really bothered me. I think this is what Eric is talking about. I saw this today, and it says San Diego Comic-Con 2023 is ours. It's time, boys, to do the do. Early 90s called. They want their reference back. Do the do. We will own San Diego Comic-Con 2022. Now, I'm guessing they meant 2023 here because it does say 2023 is ours. But okay. So it says save up. It will be a day for the history books. Okay, fine. You're going to go to San Diego Comic-Con. That's awesome. And even if you wanted to make a presence, right? Like I said yesterday, I don't think that it's right. RJ was saying yesterday that that they've taken down the ability to use the hashtag of fire James Gunn. Look, if you don't like James Gunn, you should have the right to be able to speak that and say, fire James Gunn. I don't like James Gunn. I don't trust James Gunn. That's fine. If you don't trust James Gunn, if you really have these problems with James Gunn, even though he hasn't even released anything yet, but if you still have that problem, you should have the right to say that. But here's where it gets into dangerous territory, because it says they'll know not to F with the supporters of the Snyderverse. Is this a gang fight? What does that mean? They'll know not to F with the supporters of the Snyderverse. So what are we going around starting fights now? Are we going is it turf war now? We're going to go to San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to fight with these people. They'll know not to F with us. They'll know not to mess with the supporters of the Snyderverse. I mean, like, is it a rite of passage? Do you feel like you're more of a man if you do that? I don't know, folks. But it says, let's get the ball rolling. More details will have to be released on a more private domain. That's concerning as well. On a more private domain, and briefing on what will go down. What's going to go down? Now, there's probably some people out there who say, oh, no, we're going to do a peaceful protest. It's going to be fine. And that's fine, too. Peaceful protest is fine as well. But it says we won't stop until they take us out by any means necessary. You must realize we are at war with wicked powers. It's a movie series. It's a movie series. What are we doing? Seriously. I mean, what the heck? What is this all about? I have no idea. But this bothers me. That we won't stop until they take us out by any means necessary. Those are not the words of the awesome, wonderful people that I have met in the Snyderverse community. That is not how anyone I know has ever talked, has ever put anything, has ever tried to make a statement about, or anything like that. Nothing. You're right, TW. It's genuinely frightening. And then they go on, we won't stop until they take us out by any means necessary. Like, what does that mean? I know what it implicates. But then it says, you must realize we are at war with wicked powers. Are we really? Are we at war with wicked powers? Or, at most, are we first of all, I'm not at war with anybody. I mean, come on. At war? By the way, I do want to take a minute and recognize Sith Holocron. Sith Holocron, I saw that you are in the chat right now, and so I wanted to take a moment and let you know that you are the winner of our giveaway. I told William last night that I was going to do this giveaway. But yes, you are the winner of our fantastic. Why do I always want to say Fantastic Four? Of our Fast and Furious 1 through 7 gift set right here. All you got to do is message me via social media, and we will we'll get that out to you. Okay? So message me, Sith Holocron, and we will get this out to you. Hopefully you're in the United States. If not, we'll have to figure something else out. But you know what? This is a great time to bring on a friend of mine that I love very much. And look, man, me and this guy have been together for a long, long time, and I respect him. We don't always agree on everything, but I don't agree with everybody on everything. But I'm really interested to hear his opinion about this, and that is my good friend Max. What's going on, Max?
Hey, I thought I'd pop over for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, man.
I still need to get to sleep one time, but I saw you're live. Everyone's like, Enosh is live 2 nights in a row.
2 nights in a row.
I'm like, all right, let's see what he's talking about. Okay.
Yeah, well, right now, I got some topics, but did you see this?
No.
You did not see this. Okay. I am really interested because, look, you and I both, man, we are in interesting positions because I think that both of us, for the most part, we're realists about the Snyderverse. We want the Snyderverse to continue. We'd love for the Snyderverse to continue. Nothing more would make me happy. I don't know. How about you?
And I think I do also want to cancel. Yes, to answer your question a short way, yes. But I also I'm getting sick of this was the only thing to do. It wasn't. It was one scenario of where you could have gone. They could have continued. It would have been harder.
Sure.
But I don't like that narrative.
Sure.
I personally get annoyed with that. There was no other way. No, there was lots of situations you could have done. They just chose this. Okay. And I'm not rooting against it. I'm just not there day one. I want to say that, but what was your question again?
Well, so my thing is this. Like, I no, you're fine, man. So my thing is just that I'm at a point where, look, I would love nothing more than for the Snyderverse to continue.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but
yes,
but I am really now starting to get freaked out by a lot of people who have shown themselves to be unhinged, and you know as well as anybody, man, that I fought this narrative of, the Snyder cult and all that nonsense. Because I don't think at the time, I don't think that was a predominant thing. The problem is over the last year and a half or so since the movie came out, there are a bunch of weirdos, man, who have tried to take over this fandom that we've been a part of. The good people I was just talking about, that like I talked to several people today about this in particular.
It was profitable.
Yeah, I know it was, but I mean, dude, there's weirdos out here now who are saying stuff like this. And if you haven't read this was sent to me today, and this
just
bothers
trying to get
me.
attention.
It is, but dude, my problem with this right now is the fact that at one point I would have just blown this off and said, "Oh, it's just a small little group of people or whatever that, talking a big talk or doing their thing or whatever." But what I'm seeing more and more of this now, because, yesterday I was sharing some really what I thought was disgusting pictures that I was seeing in like Facebook groups that I've been a part of for, a couple of years now, 2, 3, 4 years now, about the Snyder cut, and things like that. And they're, showing decapitations of James Gunn and calling for him.
Well, that's
calling for him to be murdered. And, and
I remember the pushback I got from the Lightcast situation where he's like, "No, this is okay with the heads of Hamad." I'm like, "No, that's not okay." And that's actually the one where I agreed with Andy Signore. And that's one of the times Andy Signore came back on my channel. He's like, "You actually agreed with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is not good."
Yeah. Like, I mean, Wonder Woman in that picture is fine because that's who Wonder Woman was in that war. But to put actual people's faces on there who are alive and well and today and have nothing to do with a freaking movie. You know what I mean? That's my point. But this came out and it just said San Diego Comic-Con 2023 is ours. Whatever that means. It says it's time, boys, to do the do, which I thought was one of the stupidest things, like to do the do, but okay. We will own San Diego Comic-Con. This says 2022, but they meant 2023, obviously. It says it will be a day for the history books. They'll know not to F with the supporters of the Snyderverse. Let's get the ball rolling. More details will have to be released on a more private domain and briefing on what will go down. We won't stop. And this is what concerns me, Max, because I've seen some of these people. I've heard some of the things that some of these people have said. This does not represent, and I want to be very clear. I'm not saying, "Oh, the Snyderverse is turned into," no, I'm saying this is not the words of people that I know, the good people that I have met through this community of people. So this is some unhinged crap that needs to be addressed. Mm-hmm. Because now I'm concerned as to what's going to go down. What's going to go down. And it says, and somebody could say, well, they're going to do a peaceful protest. That'd be fine. It's like I told RJ yesterday. I said, I don't have a problem with people being able to voice their opinion. If you don't like James Gunn, don't like James Gunn. Don't go see the movies. Don't pay for them. Don't do whatever. But also, I think that you should have the right to be able to tweet #fire James Gunn if you don't believe in what he's doing. I think that's fine.
As long as you're not toxic,
As long as you're not
just like this is our sports. This is our team. When a coach is so horrendous, makes bad decisions in your subjective opinion, people get mad and like fire the coach. And and here's the other thing that happens that people have been saying. Now this is bad. This is like I don't want to draw this parallels to real world politics, but this is like Oath Keeper type of shit. like this, like suggesting it has to be private. We're not going to say what we're really going to do and except on private servers. That's creepy.
Right?
That's creepy. Yeah.
Right. But then it goes on here, man. It says we won't stop until they take
any
us
means
out
necessary,
by any means necessary. Dude. I don't know who's got plans to go to Comic-Con, man, but I wouldn't want to go.
Just like I support the people saying fire James Gunn, if they did it, no one's going to take that job after this. Not after you have Cavill give his resignation online. No one's going to step into that. And this is facts that he's the third person they asked. We know at least 2 other people ahead of him that didn't really want this job.
Yeah.
That first guy that was making the trades, an Asian guy, I don't remember his name.
Oh yeah. Well,
I forget his name. They really wanted him and he declined. And then
that's not what I heard. That's not what I heard. I've heard it through some pretty reliable sources. Actually, even somebody who was mentioned earlier tonight in the stream that guy wanted the job, but they just kind of gave him an obligatory look at, but they weren't really they weren't really interested in him. I know that the opposite has been said, but a couple people that I know who were associated with it, that's what they told me. I don't know that for sure, but that's what they told me, was that they gave him a look because he wanted it, he had an idea for it, and then they didn't go with it. But regardless, like I agree, look, this could be nothing, okay? And I hope it is nothing. Believe me to God, I hope that this is nothing. But it's something that I definitely think we should keep an eye on, because like you said, when you start talking about, like you said, going on private domains, briefing about what's going to go down, and then you start saying stuff like we won't stop until they take us out by any means necessary, and then saying you must realize we are at war with wicked powers. What in the world? Dude, it's a movie.
There's been a lot of this sentiment online of like people really reading way too much into think it's like this culture war stuff, and like they actually think that they're against the decisions for ulterior motives instead of just have different takes on where to take the franchise. Like people are just trying to make money in different factions at these studios trying to get their production deals. It's not deeper than that. Then they just want jobs and they want to be successful. But suggesting like there's even alluding that they're stopping the Snyderverse just because they're evil. They're actually evil. It sounds like that's like another level of weird.
Well, yeah, and then they go on to say, think about Cavill, Ray Fisher, Gal, Affleck, Jason. This is for them. Death before dishonor.
What? That's weird. Yeah.
And then it says San Diego Comic-Con is ours. It's ours. We'll be remembered, boys. Keep in tune for updates.
Mm-hmm. Is it getting a lot of interaction though?
I don't know. I haven't gone back and looked.
This is where I get like if I see a lot of people. Like this is Reddit, so I don't know if they retweet or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't use Reddit a lot. I occasionally.
So I don't know how you get things pushed there. Like it says 39 comments. I'd be more concerned if it's getting like a lot of traction. That means that other people are on board. Not that this deserves to be called on its own. Yeah. But I'm like, is this relevant within the fan? Like people sharing this? Like, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But all I've been saying is this, man. Look, I'm going to push for what I like no matter what. You know what I mean, Max? Max is getting messages. Are you coming to bed, honey?
That's what's going on here. Raging,
Maxie Poo.
But, Max, my thing is, man, is look, yes, we've fought for something. I think that is a noble cause, what people have fought for and what people have done over the last few years. And I think that that's great. I just want no part of this kind of crap, though. That's not what I signed up for. That's not what I'm about. I'm not going to sit back and act like making threats like on either side, right? Because there's a bunch of idiots on the other side too who look, I've had people threaten me, I've had people say stuff about me and to me and everything else too. And I'm just like, guys, it's a movie series. Yes, I love it. Yes, it's something that I'm very passionate about. But like you said, like talking about going to war, what does that even mean?
A goddamn film and a director, like it's like people need like
I will
illness is a thing, people.
Well, perfect segue into I wasn't like that extreme, but I was pretty extreme during the Kathy Kennedy Last Jedi days, I'll have to admit.
Yeah.
So I understand people can go overboard with stuff they love because honestly, my darkest days, entertainment kept me alive. Honestly, because I would look forward to movies and video games and music. Oh,
Sure.
when I was in my darkest days, I'm like, well, maybe I'll get to see the next Star Wars movie, and I want to be there for that, or I want to be there, or the promise of the MCU or comic book movies, seeing these things brought to life. Like, there's that's how much entertainment means to me.
Yeah.
And that's how much I got in debt too. I spent way too much on entertainment. Now I can experience things and just have joy in experiencing things and not, but no, so I'm not justifying that, but I would be hypocritical to not point out my own faults in the past where I went a little extreme with boycotts and stuff like that. It's the proof is there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, TJ, like RJ said, TW, yeah, send me he says that there's a bunch of other posts and stuff. RJ's just saying now, he says, "Wow, most of this guy's posts have been removed by Reddit."
That's the system working, right?
That's how you know Reddit is actually getting their shit together.
That's what social media platforms, the owners of these mostly private businesses, have these tools for your disposals. If you really feel uncomfortable with something, use the tools. Yeah. I mean, it's also worthy of discussion. I applaud you for bringing it up, Enosh, but if you really feel uncomfortable by something, don't get all wrapped up in this anti-cancel culture stuff. No, let the owner of the business decide if it's proper or not. You have the right to question everything if you feel uncomfortable with something, and let the business owner decide. They have the option to say, no, this is still within our terms. So, no.
And look, RJ brings up a good point too, and it's funny that RJ is bringing it up. But yeah, I mean, look, this person may not even be a legit Snyder fan.
We don't want to go jump the shark with all this false flag operation type. That's where this argument comes in. That goes into politics and anti-SJWs too.
Right.
Is this really one of us, or is this someone trying to make us look bad? But unfortunately, that does happen too.
It does.
But you have to be careful using that accusation either. This is a false troll.
Yeah, I don't want to just say that, that it is this or that, whatever. We don't know. Okay. But on the surface, it looks to be somebody who's at least claiming to be a fan of Snyder's work, and Max, I'm sorry, but I really feel pop culture right now is in a really bad place when it comes to this stuff, because we've gotten to a point now where people can't just like what they like or watch something and enjoy it, talk about it, be excited about it. But now people are like basing their lives around it, and like their
whole personality. Like that's all they have in life.
Keep in mind, there's a lot of people addicted to the internet now, and this has become people interact with their internet family more than they do with their real family. And also just like I said, entertainment is important to a lot of people. That's why they could be extreme about it. It's not justifying it. I'm just saying, keep in mind what we're saying. Like, and this is I love all these. I love people when I see people, people that show up in a lot of our streams and support our channel.
Oh, sure.
But people really, it's more than just a stream to people. Like, people feel a community,
Well, and look, I said that at the beginning of this show, Max. Like, I appreciate that because like when I see the names in the chats and stuff, and if I'm on my show or if I'm at your show or anybody's show, and I see those same names and everything, like it's a bunch of people that I may have never met in person, but I care about.
Yeah.
I care about them. I know that they care about me. And then there's people, you see their names and you go, well, I know that person thinks that I'm an idiot. Whatever. I don't care.
So it's not just a movie to people. That's the thing. It's not.
I know. It's look. I get it, man. That's why we're like passionate about it.
It's nerds and stuff. Fandom has become, how nerdy used to be. Your Revenge of the Nerds time frame. People used to look down. Now it's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's a choice. It's a community, and people don't want to let that go. And it's more than just a movie. And whenever you complain about your criticisms about a movie and it gets downplayed and you're like, no, this is not just, I will fully admit these are not just movies to me. And I'm not afraid to say that. Like people like, whoa, you're complaining about a movie? Or like when you start complaining about like you love to collect action figures. You're complaining about a toy, you've ever, you're a customer.
Sure.
That feels like you're being talked down to. No, these are more. And ultimately, these big corporations are profiting off of selling you more than just a movie. Like they do promise you more than just this isolated movie. They promise you a whole universe. They sell that to you actively. So when you buy into that, you should be entitled to more. When they sell that to you, they didn't say James Gunn is making a new Superman movie. They said James Gunn's presenting a whole DC slate and a DC Bible. Now, what if they present that and they don't execute on what he does? Then you have every right to criticize that too, because they sold you on something that wasn't true.
Sure.
Like
I said, we could be here. I could be here 3 or 4 years from now talking about how awful this all is. You know what I mean? For sure. I get it. I totally get it. But man, I do think that there's got to be a line though. I mean, it's fine to have input. It's fine to complain. It's fine to be an activist even for something that you love. And what I mean? Like I get it, man. Yeah. I mean, with toys, if something I get is crappy or whatever, I'm going to say something, but like, I do think that there's a line though. I mean, when you see people starting to take things personally and it's like, it affects their real life relationships, then I don't think that it's a really, I understand why people might feel that way, but I feel that it's now consumed them to the point where it's not healthy, because I've literally seen people get pissed off over, I've shared before, like when Batman v Superman came out, I had a friend who just stopped talking to me, was only mad at me because I was excited about the movie and he was like, Batman doesn't kill, had never seen the movie. The movie hadn't even come out yet, Max. And he's going on about Batman doesn't kill. And I'm like, but dude, your favorite Batman is Michael Keaton's Batman. Your favorite Batman movie is Batman 89, in which Batman kills everybody. And he wasn't having it. And he's like, I'm not talking anymore. He kicked me out. We had a Facebook group back then. He kicked me out of his Facebook group. All this stuff, and is like, the guy has never talked to me again, ever. I have another guy that, like, I just had to have a conversation with my son because our kids were friends, and this guy turned out to be a complete douchebag to me because he didn't like that during COVID, Max, I went to doing things like this, having live streams. Guy was mad at me because I started doing live streams when there were no more trailer reactions to do. Okay. I mean, because remember, if you look back at the history of my channel, it was me and my family sitting on my couch. I do some toy reviews. We do some trailer reactions, some movie reviews, some stuff like that. It was all just fun, lighthearted, or whatever. And I get it, but we had to change format. We actually got a little more professional. We started putting on a show. We started interacting with the people who watch, and it was awesome. It's been really, really awesome. And it's been just a fun time. I met people like you, Max, and others. And all of a sudden this guy just messages, the guy leaves a comment one day that looks like a manifesto of saying that, like, I hate your channel now, all you talk about is DC, and I hate DC, and I blah blah blah, and just goes off on this rant on me, and then deleted it. But this is a guy who's got my number, who could text me, who lives 15 minutes away from me. Right? And so, like, I messaged him and I said, dude, what is your problem? Like, I'm sorry, and he's just like, you care more about your thousands of other subscribers than me. And that was literally his reaction. That I should cater to him because he didn't like what my channel had become. And I said, dude, I don't know, get rid of COVID for me, so I can go back and do a trailer reaction. So there's actually trailers for movies that are actually going to be in a theater again. I'm like, you gotta adapt or you're gonna die. And, and so, like, I think that there just comes a point where you got to say, okay, I understand fandoms. I understand being, really, into it. Like, you guys know me, man, like I'm as passionate about this as anybody else, man. I love it. This is my life. I'm surrounded by it. Right. But I just cannot get behind when I see people start to be threatening, and when I see it people allowing it to control their real personal relationships. Like, that's just not healthy.
No.
That's my concern. Because I do care about the people who watch, Max. And it's like, if this is something that's consuming somebody so much to where they're lashing out like this, and if that is a legitimate, threat or whatever you want to call it, gosh, man, like, that's somebody who probably needs to get more, to get some mental help. You know what I mean? Because they're taking something too far. And look, I've experienced that. I've had people try to tell me because they don't understand the language, or that, or whatever, because, of what things that I've said and things that other people have said and things that have happened. Like, people just get mad. And it's like, sometimes you got to be able to step back and go, the internet is a weird place. YouTube is fun. And yes, we're like a family, and we do these things together. We stream together. We have fun. Dude, some of the best times of my life, man, have been in the last 2 years with you and others.
Absolutely. We'll have more to come.
And I can't wait, dude, until you're sitting here in this room with me. Like, dude, I want that, man. But in the same token, like, you got to get up and go to work.
Yeah, which makes me, I hate that.
I know. But you know what I mean? You got to get up and go to work in the morning. I got to go to work. We all got to do our jobs. We got to exist.
I really could use
world.
a day off. I'm like, I don't get any days off this year. Well, they gave me floaters, but because I was out for my dad's surgery, I have no paid time off. So I have to stay there where other people are out. But I'll be able to take I'm finally getting a day off at the beginning of January.
Good.
After the first Monday after the next weekend.
Yeah.
I finally got to be able to put a day in. Just not anything to help my parents or anything, just a day for myself finally.
What's up, Bell?
Hey, Bell.
Real quick question before you leave. I do want to ask you, because since we're talking about this, it's not on my agenda tonight. I was going to do a separate video about this. But what are your thoughts about this thing that just came out, where people can now, there's precedent now to sue the movie studios?
Good.
Over trailers.
I had a hot take before.
Okay.
Where I was like, everyone is okay with false advertising when they like the product, like Marvel. But what if you don't like the product? It's still false advertising.
How far do you think that they can take that, though? For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, if you don't know what we're talking about, a judge ruled just this last week that people can sue movie studios over misleading trailers.
I think if something changes, they should take the old trailer down. If they take something out, maybe it was true at the time. I think this for video games, music, or like if there's a music song and they change it on the album or trailers, if they promote it, it's basically teasing the whole product. I think you have to have truth. Listen, in my job, you have to be very careful about what you tell customers. You have to be truthful. Just because you like the product doesn't mean it's not false advertising. Seeing the Hulk in Avengers Endgame going up against Thanos, it was false advertising. Yeah, we like the movie, the majority of people, but or removing stuff from the or removing action scenes. It's also confusing. Like, I thought this is, you go to see a movie and sometimes it doesn't line up with the trailer at all. Like, sometimes movies change so much. Then delete the previous trailer and put out a new one that.
But what about teasers though that may not have any actual content from the movie?
Have itself a small disclaimer. This is just like a prototype video game. I mean disclaimers happen all the time. This is This is a concept. This does not represent the final version of the film.
I get it, but here's the thing.
This is a concept teaser. There you go.
I understand what you're saying. And look, in the bigger scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. But it's just going to be kind of annoying to instead of being able to just see like, oh, hey, cool, this is a little teaser for something. And now it's going to be like, may not. Why do we have to have a freaking disclaimer? Like, why is that a suable thing? I understand the false advertising like with other things, but like, I don't know, man. I guess as a creator myself, as somebody who is
all the disclaimers that we're up to today, but it's really not that big of a deal.
I think though that you would have to go back and somehow prove
because
that studio was trying to be misleading by whatever they did.
Yeah, you have to prove that in court. Yeah. Just because you could sue doesn't mean you're going to win.
No, right. I know.
Yeah, but I think they should have the right to sue if they really felt like they were misled. And the disclaimers, like everyone flips out about, oh, I had a disclaimer for. Well, yeah, that's the way the world is now about everything. Like I have to deal with my customers. I have to give all kind of disclaimers and be extremely factual with the information I'm giving them.
Sure.
Or it comes back on me. And if it makes the studios and the companies promote it more accurately, their product, I think that's a good thing. Ultimately,
yeah,
that's a good thing. You shouldn't mislead, or even the Spider-Man trailer. No one's going to complain about No Way Home because they digitally took out a Spider-Man hitting the Lizard Man. Remember that?
Yeah, but
that was inaccurate.
But
they could have just not showed that at all. They could not show that. They actually used false advertising for advertising. Like they knew exactly what they were doing. I don't think that was a mistake. That was to use the will they, won't they bring back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. That was all part of the plan. Are you on me with it? I don't think that was like, oh, look, there's someone hitting a lizard and there's no one there, but he's reacting to a punch. That was all part of the intrigue. That was, but that was actually actively using false advertising to promote your product, and we rewarded them for that.
But do you think that they should be able to be sued about that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. They could have done something differently. They could have still used the will they, won't they bring back Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire, and they could have shown the scene and cut away instead of showing a digitally altered and taken out Spider-Man hitting the Lizard Man.
But isn't it the second though that they actually start addressing a will they, won't the will they, won't they situation? Basically, you're saying they're coming back. And I know that it was the worst kept secret, but I don't know, man. I think that that was awesome speculation to go into. And how are you even going to know some of this stuff until after the movie comes out, obviously? I don't know. I think in some instances, if it's literally if it's a real underhanded, actually meant something thing, but I don't think that I have a hard time saying, yeah, you should be able to sue somebody because you didn't see this character do this. That could have happened. Because
listen, can they sue should they win are two separate conversations.
Yeah.
Should they win in every scenario? No. It's up to the courts to decide. They should be able to sue if they want to, if they really feel misled. Does that mean every case should win, that they were extremely deceptive? No. It doesn't. It doesn't mean they should win the case, but if it helps studios be more accurate in what they convey to their customers and what they sell to their customers, including these big sales pitches for these big multiverses. That's why everyone has a verse now.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just buying one movie. You're not just seeing one movie or one isolated thing. You're buying into a whole universe and a whole lifestyle when you promote these DC or Marvel universes. You know, being a Marvel fan and DC fan is like a lifestyle choice now. You go buy the comics, you go back, you buy the video games, you go to the conventions. It's not just one thing. You actually sell these conventions, people use their vacation time and all their extra funds to go to conventions for announcements about universes, not just an isolated movie. You know, these are lifestyles that they are profiting off of. If it makes the studios be more accurate in what they're selling to the consumer, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just hope that it doesn't take away some of the mystery of some of these things, you know, for like teasers and you know, and I don't know. It's a hard thing. I understand the need for some things. I just hope that it doesn't get like out of hand. You know what I mean? Where people are just like, well, you know, like you said, like I am glad that it's not a thing of, well, like, I just didn't like it, you know, or I didn't like something that they did. Like, I think that I think that that's a concern, actually, the next thing, especially with all the people who've been so vocal about things like Star Wars and things like, you know, the DC universe and things like that. Are you gonna have people start lining up going like, you know, well, you promised us Henry Cavill, you know, Henry Cavill said he was coming back and now then you fired him. So, you know, I'm going to sue because I'm not getting a Henry Cavill movie.
Well, I'd have the perfect response to integrity. It'll happen. It's inevitable that it'll happen.
Yes,
it just might not happen soon, but it's inevitable.
I had to pull this up because I saw your other.
It's an inevitability, isn't that what he says all the time?
Yes. I saw his other comment that he's just messing with me, but yeah, I have promised him because we did Superman 1 and 2, and we did both the regular theatrical version of Superman 2 and the Donner cut. And so we were going to, man, it's been so long now, but yeah, we were going to do Superman 3 and we just never got to it. And because I said, yeah, let's do all the Superman movies. And so integrity, new year, starting this week. So we will, we'll do it.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
Yes, it's inevitable. RJ here says, Point Nation Lounge, they'll likely just put disclaimers and warnings at the end of trailers saying footage shown is subject to change in the final release, whatever, to cover their butts. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, I just...
And then that's accurate. That's accurate then.
I'm just... I get tired sometimes of living in a world where it's like,
but that's
we have to have all these disclaimers, and you know,
does it really hurt you? Does it really hurt you, Enosh? Though, does it really?
I don't know, man. When packaging has half a thing of just warnings and stuff
for it.
It's got plastic in it. Really? No, duh. You know, like, I don't know, man. It's just.
I'm gonna have to. My whole show's gonna be disclaimers, including. I have to get to bed. I'll see. Right, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by, man.
If you haven't liked the video yet, please like it, and we'll get together soon.
Absolutely, man. Speaking of toys, man, I gotta open up. I still gotta open up your stuff, man. I'm saving it for you, but I'm just gonna clear a spot, and I'm just gonna like give you a call and just be like, dude, let's just do this. Let's just do this. Yeah, life has just been crazy, man. Life has been so crazy, but I love you and I appreciate you, Max.
Love you too, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, buddy.
All right, bye.
Cool to see Max stop by like that. That's really cool. I love Max. Max has been a good friend. I'll tell you what. You know, I really appreciate Max, for sure. But we do have topics tonight. But hey, what's up, Zentech? With a $5 Australian super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, hey, fellas, what are your thoughts about suing a YouTuber for intentionally promoting misleading information under a paywall? I bet you. And then later he follows up with no particular YouTuber in mind. That's great, Zentek. Yes. I would say that should not be a thing that happens. That should not be a thing that happens. Point blank. Yep. That's great, man. You do suck says I'm suing Enosh for not doing the Showgirls watch along. I mean, does anybody really want to see that though? I don't know. Anyways. Okay, so I do have some topics. I don't know what happened to Jimbo. Jimbo was here and then was gone. So, but I love you, Jimbo. If you want to come back, buddy. I am going to open up for calls in just a little while. I want to go over a couple of the topics of tonight, and then we'll get you guys' opinions. Okay, how's that sound? Maybe Krampus, maybe. Let's see. I'm suing because that scene where Black Adam punches off the airplane wing wasn't in the movie. That could have restored the Snyderverse if it was kept in. Right there. That's what did it, man. That's what did it. Totally destroyed the Snyderverse. All because that scene wasn't in there. Dude, I feel you. I feel you, bro. I feel you. Okay. So, first of all, let's see. What should we talk about first? Well, I know that we're well into the show already, but I would be remiss if I did not bring up one thing before we jump into tonight's topics, and that is my good friends at bullysticksdirect.com. That's right, Bully Sticks Direct. You guys have heard me talk about it. They're not just a company that I know about or that has just sponsored the show. These are friends. These are my friends. These are people that I trust. I trust my own dog's health to these products. My dogs love them. My dogs absolutely love Bully Sticks. Just all kinds of different things between the braided Bully Sticks, the gullets, the tendons, the chews, the turkey, the pork, all of it, man. They just love it. And I know your dog will too. Now, obviously make sure that your dog doesn't have any, dietary, issues or whatever. But for a healthy dog, this is going to work just fine, and you're going to be just fine. They're all natural treats and chews, all natural, preservative free, no added hormones or antibiotics. And again, like I always say, a single source supplier for quality and consistency, so you know it's going to be good. There's a telephone number right there at the top of the website. You can give them a call and let them know what you think. All right. But they got tons of stuff to choose from. You can peruse the website and find something that your dog might like, because it alleviates boredom, lessens anxiety, and it's for fun. It's healthy, it's safe, and your dogs are going to love it. And if you go to bullysticksdirect.com and you buy something, you can put in code Poindexter and save 10% off your order. There's free shipping on all orders. You can get more information on that. And then also you can auto ship and save. So like if you know that your dogs are going to go through, something. Also, there's something else that's really cool. If you are a pet lover, like even if, you're just like interested in what it is, they've got a lot of really great blog things about animals, about your dogs and stuff. Like right now here, if you look at this blog part, it says the problem with rawhide chews, try Bully Sticks instead. Look, my dogs like rawhides too, right? But that's good information to have. 10 tips for cold weather safety for your dog this winter. Thanksgiving temptations, do's and don'ts, because sometimes we want to just feed our dog everything, and so it's a really great company, really great people. Go check them out. And I think that you'll be happy with what you find there. Okay. So that being said, whoops, did I miss something? Oh, nope, I didn't. Okay. I thought I saw something there. What's up, Jordan? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you in the chat. Good to see everybody here. That dog is snacking on a femur. Tiffany bought our dogs a bunch of dog treats and stuff for Christmas, and man, they got Marty. You guys have seen Marty. Marty's what, about this big, and he's got a giant rawhide that's bigger than him. So yes, Daniel, taffy gullets, yummy. We may not think so, but the dogs love them. It's like that scene from, Back to the Future. You may not like this, but your kids are going to love it. Okay. That being said, we'll go ahead and move along. And then, like I said, we'll take some calls before the night is done. I'm going to hold off for William for one of these. But first of all, let's talk about Gal Gadot. Look at there, even Dark Horizons. I love that. Look at the advertising stuff there, right? I haven't put it up on the screen yet, have I? I have not. I hate this, man. StreamYard changed this. So Dark Horizons, there's Bully Sticks Direct right there. Gal Gadot rumored to return to Fast 10. All right. With a third Wonder Woman film on ice in the wake of Patty Jenkins' exit and the complete overhauling of the DC universe, a new report has indicated that actress Gal Gadot could be returning to the other franchise for which she's most famous. And it's funny, there's a lot of people who forget that she was part of the Fast and the Furious. According to the Direct, their sources indicate that Gadot is attached to reprise her role as Giselle Yashar in the Fast and Furious franchise for the upcoming 10th entry, Fast 10, opening on May 19th. If accurate, Gadot would be joining her fellow DCEU star Jason Momoa in the sequel. How is the obvious question, considering her character was seemingly killed off, falling out of a fast-moving plane on the endless runway of the finale set piece of Fast and Furious 6. Then again, the franchise has brought back supposedly dead characters after a few film break, including Sung Kang's Han Lu and Michelle Rodriguez's Letty Ortiz. Gadot starred in the 4th through 6th features in what was her first international film performance before she went on to be cast as Wonder Woman shortly after. She also filmed a cameo for a flashback scene in Furious 7, but that scene was excluded from the film's final cut. Uh-oh! She filmed the cameo. Hopefully it didn't make it into the trailer, so nobody can sue Fast and the Furious 7. It's something she's familiar with as a supposed cameo she shot for next year's The Flash film has also reportedly been cut from that movie, which I'm kind of bummed about that, to be honest with you. I don't understand why. I don't understand why we got to, if we're saying goodbye to these characters, why do we got to cut them all from the movie? I don't know. They're making a movie. I'll make my judgment calls once the movie comes out. But Gadot has no shortage of projects on the horizon, including Netflix Heart of Stone, Disney's live-action remake of Snow White, and playing classic Hollywood actor and inventor Hedley Lamar for a TV series. So that's that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are you excited about that? I'm not really big on Fast and the Furious. So, I feel like I need to check them out. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that I should check out Fast and the Furious? I've never watched a Fast and the Furious movie. It's really ironic that we're giving away this that we just gave away this Fast and the Furious box set here, because I have not ever watched a Fast and the Furious movie. Is it worth it? Are you guys fans of Fast and the Furious? Eat My Tacos says yes. Cherie says the first one's good. What about the other 13? Larry says they're fun. Okay. Benemus says you should. They're fun films, not to be taken seriously. I heard they're going into space or something like that. Krampus says he worked on the first one. Ooh, get some behind the scenes deets on that. All right. I liked Hobbs and Shaw better. Cherie. Oh, you're funny. Okay. Well, I might have to give it a shot. Like I said, it's just been one of those things that I just never got around to. Okay, Film Goblin says Tokyo Drift is the best. Eat My Taco says I like Tokyo Drift. Integrity says Fast and the Furious is Point Break with cars. That's hilarious. Daniel says you should check out definitely the fifth, The Rock's first appearance. Tokyo Drift has a cult following. Okay. Well, maybe I'll have to check them out. Check out a couple of them, and then get back with you guys and let you know what I think, what my opinion is of actually watching the Fast and the Furious movies. You know what kept me away from watching the Fast and Furious movies? Honestly, Vin Diesel. I can't stand Vin Diesel. There's something about the guy. I don't get into it, man. I just can't. I can't. I just can't do it. But yeah, so did they go into space already? I don't know how that works either. Fun. I mean, do they just go into space and is it like Sharknado? Like when they went into space in Sharknado? I don't know. Oh my gosh. Hey, look, you know what? If you like Vin Diesel, that's great. By the way, that's a great that right there is a great Avatar. It's cool. That's a classic right there, man. Elephant Man. Gosh, man, that movie freaked me out when I was a kid. They kind of went into space, not exactly, but close enough. How do you kind of go into space? I don't know, guys. My favorite Vin Diesel thing that he's done is be Groot. That's just it for me. Man, look, I did watch Vin Diesel's early stuff. What was the kid movie that he was in? I watched that. There were a couple of other ones that I've seen of Vin Diesel's, but I just at some point I couldn't anymore. He's just not my thing. Integrity, I'm right there with you, man. I'm The Rock. I can stomach The Rock better than I can Vin Diesel. I feel that Vin Diesel doesn't really have any kind of range. You know what I mean? But when it comes to The Rock really doesn't have a lot of range either. He's just kind of, we're going to talk about that in just a couple minutes. But he's just kind of stuck in one thing. He's not even trying to do other types of, movies. He's literally just doing the same thing over and over and over again, and plays the exact same characters, So what are you going to do? But are you excited for Gal Gadot possibly being in the Fast and Furious movies again? Are you excited if she makes a comeback? Would it maybe if you maybe you stopped, watching the Fast and Furious movies? Would this be something that would bring you back? If you knew that she was going to be in it, Jason Momoa is going to be in it. If you're a DC fan, I know a lot of you guys who watch the show, you're DC fans like me. Would that be something that would pique your interest? I think that if Gal Gadot does go back into that world, I think she's going to bring a lot of prestige back with her. I think that it's going to probably change how her character is probably perceived and who she is in the movie and probably her importance, So I do hope that if they bring her back, that it's for a reason, that it's not just like, hey, let's just load this thing up and bring her back because it's Gal Gadot and people love Gal Gadot. You know what I mean? I hope that they put it in there for a good reason. That's it. So that's that. Moving right along. Remember, keep your thoughts handy because we will be doing call-in where you can tell me your thoughts. Let's see here. Gosh, man, I want to save the Stan Lee thing just in case William pops in. But I want to do this one too. Okay, well, you know what? Let's talk about the Green Lantern thing. Since we're on DC, and we're talking about that. Eat My Tacos. I did not watch the Bloodsport movie. I did not. I got to be honest. I did not do that. Did you like that movie? Was that movie any good? And see, this brings up a great point. Like if Jason Momoa is joining the cast and Brie Larson is joining the cast, like, do you just want to saturate that movie with people then at that point? I don't know. But okay, so I've only seen Toronto Freddy. What's up, Toronto Freddy? Good guy right there. Follow that guy on Instagram, man. He's got a lot of great stuff, man. Says, I've only seen the first Fast and the Furious. I watched it with my brother because he threw it on when I was at his place. There's 2 hours of my life I'll never get back. Oh, okay. There you go. 4,000 says, Brie Larson, I'm out. That's funny. Star Wars Han, frozen in carbonite. Fast and the Furious Han, frozen in plot convenience. That's awesome. Eat My Tacos. You did not like Bloodsport. Okay. Integrity says, why do Green Lantern fans think of Green Lantern 2010 with Ryan Reynolds? Do diehard Green Lantern fans go back and watch that movie? Just curious. So, that's a legitimate question, Integrity. I will say this. There are parts of the Green Lantern movie that I really enjoy. I think in a lot of ways it looks really great. Obviously, there are things about that movie that they're just not redeemable, and it's very, very unfortunate because they had one chance. I mean, first time Green Lantern on the big screen, man. It's his big debut, right? Here's how it is, and Chris, I agree with you. I do believe that Ryan Reynolds was miscast as Hal. I really do. I really feel that they should have gone with somebody who had more of a just a serious tone, because that's how Hal Jordan is. Hal Jordan, he's a cocky pilot, but Ryan Reynolds is just Ryan Reynolds. And some movies that is really great. Yes, Chris. I mean, like if he was still young, Wally West would have been that'd be a good thing for him. But it's a hard thing when you're looking at that. But they cast him because he had a look, and I don't necessarily hate his look. I just the banter, it gets weird sometimes, and the villain was horrible. All the villains were horrible in the movie. Gosh, man, it just wasn't good, right? I think we can all agree it wasn't good. But it's one of those movies that sometimes it's so bad. I mean, like, look, my kids loved it. My kids got all the toys from it back in the day. They loved Green Lantern at the time. It actually got them. It was one of their first, except for watching movies at home, it was one of their first forays into the DC universe. Maybe not proper, as a universe, but like, as a whole. And so they really loved that movie, man. They had every Green Lantern action figure you could possibly imagine. They wanted them all. And that was when they were huge into just wrestling. And so that's all they wanted was wrestling figures at the time. That's all they did was wrestling, watched wrestling. And Green Lantern came along, and man, all of a sudden they paid attention. They really liked it. And there's some complaints about it that I don't think are warranted, but there's some that are. And I hear some I hear some criticisms of the movie that I just think, I don't think that that's a legitimate criticism. And then there's sometimes that I see people defending things that I don't think should be defended. But you're right, Eat My Tacos. Green Lantern movie was supposed to start the DC universe. It was supposed to kick that off. And I agree with you, Cherie. Mark Strong as Sinestro was definitely on point. But there's been rumor of this Mark Berlanti series that apparently they were going to make this huge, all-encompassing story that was going to be on HBO Max, and we've been hearing it. What's up, Draga? So we've been hearing about this now for so long. I mean, a long time. And I don't know that I agree with you, RJ. I don't know that this. I don't think that this right here properly really represents probably what's going on with this kind of headline. But the direct, I mean, is usually pretty good, but I just feel like they may have taken some liberties with this because, and you'll see what I mean. DC Studios boss calls out fake rumor about Green Lantern's future. Man, I have got to get something to get rid of all these pop-ups, don't I? Thought I had a pop-up blocker, but okay. I do. I just don't think I probably have it on or something. I don't know. We'll see. I think I turned it off because needing some things for StreamYard. Anyways, DC Studios' James Gunn has addressed the rumor about the Green Lantern series planned for HBO Max within the DC universe. Superman isn't the only DC character who's been missing in action in recent years. The character who holds the crown for the longest wait just may be the Green Lantern. Apart from Zack Snyder attempting to introduce a version of the Green Lantern in his cut of Justice League, our friend Wayne, the character hasn't been seen on screen for more than a decade, his last appearance coming in Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern from 2011. While fans will have to wait a little longer for a big screen story, a Greg Berlanti series focused on the intergalactic hero was reportedly in the works for HBO Max. However, in the wake of retools and budget reports, new rumors suggested that the series had been scrapped, especially since it was greenlit before Peter Safran and James Gunn were tapped to reboot the DCU. To set the record straight, James Gunn has taken to Twitter to confirm the Green Lantern's fate. And you can be the judge of this. In response to the claim that the Green Lantern series planned for HBO Max has been axed, as well as the rumor that James Gunn has big screen plans for the character, the newly crowned co-CEO, shut down the speculation with the following tweet. Fake. Fake. And that was it. And hey, perfect timing. We'll bring in William at this point. While we're going over this, because I'm definitely interested in hearing William's take on this. But so back to this. So he just answers fake. But fake about what? About big. I mean, am I supposed to not think that James Gunn has any big screen plans for Green Lantern? That like they've got this 10-year plan that's going to cover all the DC universe, but they're going to somehow leave out Green Lantern? I highly doubt it. Now whether or not it has been officially axed yet or not, there's still a lot of stuff up in the air about the DC universe right now. We've got an official word on Cavill, but we haven't got official word on some other characters, some other people, and where they're going to fall and how things are going to end up. So who knows? But then it says Andy Bebacht corroborated Gunn's response, confirming that the series is still in development. Yeah, I can go ahead and debunk this already, as I was in communication with HBO Max and WB-TV last week about the Green Lantern TV show. There have not been any changes made, as the show is still in development. And that's great, but the thing is we all know how that can go. Because there was a time when, on one day of the week, Henry Cavill was in. Henry Cavill was getting more movies. We were going to see Henry Cavill back as Superman, and then one day we woke up, and it was just gone. And that's how quickly things are happening and going down. And I don't think that anybody is safe in this DC universe. I don't think that I don't even think that for all intents and purposes, Zachary Levi going on, I think I'm safe. Dude, I think that if they got a story to tell that's different than the one that's on screen right now, you face the chopping block. But it says this clarification comes on the heels of reports that the series had shuffled writers and switched the focus to Jon Stewart as opposed to Alan Scott and Guy Gardner, which I'm totally down with, because I don't want to actually watch a Green Lantern show about Guy Gardner. And Alan Scott is going back a ways, and that's a whole completely different story to have to tell about Green Lantern instead of the main continuity that all the fans want. I am kind of getting tired of as a fan of studios and directors and writers and stuff wanting to force on us the stories that just they want to tell instead of the things that most fans want to see. I don't think that most fans are clamoring for Guy Gardner. Most of the normies out there, we talk about that a lot, William. We talk about the people, who are just the average moviegoer, the average TV watcher. They don't even know who Guy Gardner or Alan Scott is. Yeah, they have no idea. It's just dumb.
I hope that everything that was coming forward, from, the previous era is being flushed down the toilet. I hope. I don't have any info. And once again, And I know a lot of people, tell me I should be listening to certain sources and trades and everything else. Right now, everybody is on shaky ground. Everybody is as good as the information that they're being fed. And the best information that we're getting is being given to us in sort of riddles by James Gunn.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to the point where until he starts giving me coherent, complete sentences, and and he's ready to unveil it, that nothing that I've heard for the most part is 100% true. Even Cavill's not going to be in his DCU universe, but I don't know when I'm going to see Cavill again in the Superman uniform. There's nothing that told me that I'm never going to see him with the red S on his chest again. And it just told me that he's not going to be. So, like I said, the advice I'm going to continue to give is disassemble this mosaic of bullshit that has been put together for you by a lot of these sources, and let the people who are going to actually make these decisions start putting it together for you. But yeah, him being fake means that he's doing this because he just wants to give that ambiguity, and he doesn't want to talk or tweet himself into another corner. So even though I can't stand the riddles, it's probably for the best right now.
Thank you, Sheree. I did say Mark Berlanti, didn't I? Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Greg Berlanti. Look, as far as I'm concerned too, I'm kind of tired of seeing Greg Berlanti's DC world. Okay.
Yes,
there was a time, William, where literally every Tuesday night, I would, no matter how much I had to do after work or whatever, man, I would make sure I was in the car, dude. I was on my way home. I was rushing to get home at 8:00 because we had to watch The Flash, and it wasn't just because we were doing a live stream of it, man. I loved The Flash. My son Isaac loved Green Arrow. And
it ran its course. To be honest with you, it ran its course.
It was so good. And then it just got so far off that, I just wasn't interested anymore. Yeah, and unfortunately, I missed the entire last 2 seasons of The Flash.
A lot of people did. The numbers bear that out. After the 4th season of The Flash, it was struggling to hold viewers. The entire CW, be honest with you, it was a good first 4 years for each of those shows, but it got to the point to where it just didn't have, the DC brand loyalty. It had CW loyalty, but CW loyalty, it's like the Batman Beyond thing. Everybody told me I need a Batman Beyond movie, right? But everybody who says that thinks that there's millions upon millions of more people that are into that, and half the people wouldn't buy it if you gave it to them for free. It was the same thing with the CW after 4 years. I mean, they lost money on all those shows for the whole CW scheme has been losing money for quite a while.
Yeah. For me, I'm just I'm over all of that. And I don't think that it was a good I don't think that it was a good choice of who they were going to put in there. If they were going to switch it out then and put in, Jon Stewart, great. But, it says as a result, Fit Whitrock and Jeremy Irvine, who were cast to play Gardner and Scott, respectively, are no longer attached to the series. So they're gone. And then it goes on to say, while Green Lantern appears to be safe for now, it's not out of the woods just yet, since Gunn and Safran intend for all corners of their new DCU to connect. A side project independent of their vision doesn't quite fit the plan. If it survives, it may be re-envisioned even more than it already has, which includes CEO David Zaslav cutting the show's impressive budget in pursuit of tax write-downs. It's also worth noting that, despite the Green Lantern's newfound direction, the studio hasn't announced a release date or indicated when production will get underway. So even though the show hasn't been canceled for good, the evidence suggests that DC fans will have to wait a little longer for the Green Lantern's overdue return. So,
11:45 p.m. Pacific time. That show's dead. That show's dead, and there's no reason for it to exist. If the easiest thing for him to do right now is handle a Green Lantern that nobody's really handled right now. So this premise of the Green Lantern that they came up with is not, wasn't something that was going to fly. And another thing that he brings up a good point. Listen, you get what you pay for. I keep hearing low budget Superman. You want to end this regime as quickly as we can pronounce the name Saffron and Gunn.
Right.
You put a pick and save Superman out there and see how that sticks. We have one right now, and it can barely gain viewers. Superman and Lois does decent numbers, but not the type of numbers people thinks it does.
No.
And that is a low budget Superman. Compared to a cinematic budget, you cannot put pick and save Superman out there. You just can't do it. Not in this era.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so. And people are going to call you on it. And, and what's weird is, but I say that, right? The problem is you and I both know that there are a lot of people out there who will still make excuse for it. They'll make excuse for it. I have seen so many excuses made for the Superman and Lois show that I don't even know anymore, man.
Okay, so there's no ad revenue for it. I don't even buy it. I'm a cheap ass. I'm not buying that revenue for that TV spot because I know no one's watching. There's only so many excuses you can make. You can back up Snyder stuff because you had hundreds of millions of dollars that was made. But when you look at the numbers, the ratings for these shows are public. You can go see them, and you can't make money as a viable network. The CW verse, and he's part of it, is why the CW really has never been profitable. It's just not a good business model.
Yeah.
And like I said, and a pick and save Superman just doesn't do it. People want to be blown away by Superman. You can do Batman sort of cheap because, and especially if it's a solo Batman movie, because you're not dealing with the fantastical and the VFX. But if you put a cheap, low budget Superman out there, that just hurts the brand. So they need to. I don't think they're going to do that, by the way. I don't think all these budget cuts, they're going to spend money on the things that mean something to them. Things like Batgirl and all that didn't mean anything to them. Superman does. I don't think we're going to get a cheap Superman.
I agree with this, Toronto Freddy. That's been my problem. And look, as a Superman fan, you gotta understand, this is not a Henry Cavill thing. Okay, look, there's a couple people that William, I love everybody's opinions. People can give me their opinions all they want and tell me what they think about my opinion and your opinion and everything else. I see all the comments that roll in, from your show and my shows and everything else. And like, there's a couple of people who keep talking about stuff that we're not even talking about on air, right? We could be talking about something completely different, and all of a sudden, it's you guys are coping over this and that, and it's like, we're not even talking about the Snyder Cut, we're not talking about the Snyderverse, like, move on, whatever. But, and when I use that terminology, I meant the people who are coming at us. Move on.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I want to clarify that.
Not us to move on. I've already addressed those people.
Yeah. I just want to clarify that, right? But the thing is that, like, when it comes to heckling, I just don't see Superman. I've tried. Look, I watched, man, obviously the Christopher Reeve movie. I've watched everything Superman that I could possibly watch, that's out there, including the Superboy TV show. I loved the Superboy TV show. John Newton, the first season.
You're talking about the late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah, the syndicated one. John Newton, who was Superboy in the first season, I can put up with it, but he didn't quite look the part. He wasn't quite built enough. But man, when Gerard Christopher came in seasons 2, 3, and 4, I mean, he could have played Superman, really, honestly. He was old enough to be. He was in his 30s by the time the show was done, and he actually got looked at for Lois and Clark, and so my thing is, when I look at Tyler Hoechlin, I've tried, man. I want to, but between that crazy suit that they've got him in, that is so full of padding, it's distracting. And the way that the character is, believe me, it pangs me to say that there's a Superman series literally live on television right now that I painfully get through because I'm a Superman fan and I just want to see what they're doing.
Yeah, I never really, I liked the first couple episodes. I just didn't feel it. Other people liked it, but I'm like, the problem is this anything that's on that channel, I know there are such limitations that it's like, when you tells me that there's Superman on my screen, I'm expecting you to go all out, and they can't, and it's not their fault. I truly believe that they're giving you the best that they can do under the restraints that they have, but you can't do Superman with those restraints. You can't do pick and save Superman. You can't do low budget Superman, and you can't have the limitations that the CW has when you're producing the flagship character. You either go all in or you go home.
Yeah.
I'd rather see a Superman show with a big Game of Thrones budget on HBO Max than see something on network TV that really has restraints and limitations. And it's going to be the same approach to the movie. You're seeing right now, anybody who thinks there should be, that they can pull off a low budget Superman, like a lot of people might be thinking, you're seeing it right now on free TV. People aren't watching it for free. You think they're going to pay for a low budget Superman? So all this budget cutting crap, I dare them. All right. I really hope, I don't think they're going to do that, but I hear from people who should know better that think that's going to happen. No, you're not going to get away with $150 million. Dude, the CGI alone, 185 is what you should be spending. And if there's anything that you're going to inflate the budget on, it is your flagship character. I can see cutting out Blue Beetle and all these other budgets, all the other C-listers, and even Black Adam should not have been that expensive of a movie. But when you're going with the man, the focal point of your universe, you better not close up that pocketbook. People are going to notice. And it's going to be judged against every other superhero movie right now that is spending the right amount of money. This is the movie where the budget really, you're not going to get another chance to make this impression. Spend what you need to do. Spend what you need to do to make it look right. Don't say, well, we can only spend $150 million on this. No, spend what you need to do, because guess what? This is going to be the first thing out of the gate. And it's going to be the focal point in which, the access point of which all the other things you do with DC are going to be on. You cannot skimp on this. You cannot. You might as well just, give yourself the dagger in the chest at that point.
Right. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. I don't wear glasses. I have a slight astigmatism. And so most of the time, actually, I don't wear glasses, but tonight my eyes were just really tired, and so I knew I was going to be looking at a screen. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. RJ says the Batman was like $100 million budget before ballooning to $185 million because of COVID. Might have been $125 million at first. $125 million is a sweet spot for budgeting, in my opinion. Not for a Superman movie.
Yeah.
For a Batman movie, it's one thing. There's a lot of things you can get away with actual physical things. You got a Batmobile car. You've got you got some wire work and some stuff like that. With an actor, you may have some CGI in there, obviously, but when you have a Superman movie, you're talking about power sets. Now you're talking about super speed. You're talking about heat vision. You're talking about, super breath. You're talking about flight, right?
Space.
Yeah. You're talking about things that are bigger than Batman's, it almost makes Batman then kind of look almost like claustrophobic and like, kind of boxed into his little Gotham world, which I know it can be a big world. I'm not saying that it can't. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, man. I don't think $125 million is going to cut it.
Hey, James Gunn,
Superman movie.
Peter Safran, and David, if you're watching the Point Diction Island right now, please,
we know they are.
Do not even remotely entertain a $125 million Superman. Please, if you're throwing the idea right now, fire whoever is throwing that idea around. Send them somewhere else, because you cannot do that. Like I said, the standard is set for this high-end type of Superman movie. You cannot put a $125 million Superman movie out there. You can't even put that out there with Thor: Love and Thunder. You just can't. You can't do it.
RJ, I would say that yes, there are certain movies that you can get away with doing $100 million budget, and it's going to look just fine, but not something that needs to be effects heavy, like a Superman movie. I mean, what are you going to have Superman doing? Like walking down the street? Is it going to be? I mean, basically, we're going back then to look at the John Peters version of Superman, where it's like, I better not see that guy fly. Like, I better not, like, come on, I mean that, because that's what you're asking for. If you're saying that you want a $100 million Superman movie, you're basically saying, I don't want to see Superman fight anything of actual like integrity. I don't want to see Superman like get into like a battle that requires Superman. And William, that's been one of my biggest things, is my frustration over we don't get to see. I mean, we got to see Zod, and I get it, and I was glad at least that it wasn't just Zod; it was Zod and like all these other things. But I want to see more things that are on the level of they need Superman's attention.
Yeah, they need a Superman to solve them. Yeah.
Right.
100 million, RJ. No, like I said, 100 million, you may be the next DC Studios head, because that $100 million Superman is going to get destroyed. There's no way. You cannot make it, and you shouldn't. It's Superman. You now need to rise to the occasion of the legend of Superman. It is not, the budget may be up to you, but it's not. It really isn't. The standard has been set. See, when you inherit a standard, you either meet the standard or you back away entirely. And if this is your main guy, if the oldest caped superhero out there, and this is going to be the your first impression, which you will only get one shot at, and it's going to be the access point of your universe, you cannot go cheap. You may as well just not do it. All right. There are certain things that cost money. And like I said, the environment of comic book movies between both companies has been set when it comes to their major superheroes. All right. You're not doing a low budget Avengers movie. You're not doing a low budget Thor movie. You're not doing a low budget Iron Man movie. You're not doing a low budget Guardians of the Galaxy. All right. You're not. And even if those budgets, say Guardians of the Galaxy budget is 150 million, Guardians of the Galaxy is not Superman. Superman has a place in worldwide lore that demands a certain presentation. $100 million Superman, we're set the calendar for 1,000 days from now, which is about 3 years, when we're talking about the new heads of whatever. There's no way in hell they are or should try to do a low budget Superman. All right. That, and that shouldn't even be an idea. They should be, and it doesn't sound like Zaslav is. Superman actually means something to him. He's not, they're not going to give you a pick and save Superman. And if they do, like I said, that's 2 bullets in the foot right there. Don't even start the race. You've already just shot your feet out from under you.
Yeah. So, and Bell, look, I love Henry. Henry is what I consider to be the perfect Superman. I think that he combines all the things that you want to see in a Superman, because I don't want to see another Superman that's got to be in a padded suit that's so padded that it's ridiculous. I don't want to see that on screen. I don't want to see it on TV. Henry had things that accentuated his own body, which was great. He put in the work. He built himself up to be massive, and you got to give him credit for that. But I will say this. Look, I got to agree with Christopher Reeve on this one. The role is bigger than any one actor. Okay? People who play Superman and many of the other great characters that we love, we may grow accustomed to one that we love so much that we can't imagine anybody else taking that spot. And I understand that. But at the same time, we can also know that they are, like Christopher Reeve said, that he was, what did he say? He was the
caretaker.
I think of the character for that time. And that he wanted to do it the best that he could and give it the best that he could possibly give it. But he knew that one day somebody else was going to come and take on that role as well. And which is one of the things that I try to speak to people who are just like on this Christopher Reeve kick, that it's like, where I've literally seen people say, well, nobody should ever play Superman again. They literally, I've seen people honestly, not being joking, not anything else, honestly say that they want all future Superman movies to have a voice actor and literally have Christopher Reeve's face over another actor playing the character.
Yeah, that Superman group. But I had to leave that group because that was constantly them. That was their biggest hang up. I'm like, I don't need this on my feed anymore. What are you guys talking about? That was my Superman. I went to see that Superman in the movie theaters. And as a child, that Superman worked for me. I have grown into different times now. You got to look around in regards to all that CGI, I can see why you'd need it. Yeah. And like I said, it's that, and it's a commitment, Roger. It's a commitment. It's saying that this is the regard that we hold everything around this character to be. And it's their clarion call. It is their flare that they're going to shoot up into the sky and say, this is us. This is our universe. This is what you can expect going forward. Now, will you have a $200 million, $250 million budget for everything? No, but when you get closer to the main people, we're going all out. And Superman, you have to go all out on Superman. I mean, you have to, there's so much unfair damage that they're going to have to do. 5 years being absent hurt the brand of Superman and DC. So they're up against it in that. They're up against their own decision-making as far as, going with a different actor, even though, like I said, I still believe that at some point we will see a version of Henry Cavill's Superman before it's all said and done. But that's just my gut feeling. But yeah, there's a lot up against him now. They cannot afford to skimp. You got to go all in now. You got to go all in.
There you go, RJ. We've done some good. Yes.
Now, all the other movies, he's right. Like, okay, the Batmans don't need to be $250 million movies. Certain movies, Blue Beetle probably doesn't need to be that much. If you do a booster, those kind of characters like that, you don't have to. But the man, the sun of your solar system, you got to go all in, and it has to look and feel like everything that's currently out there in regards to comic book movies. Like I said, especially not even comic book movies. A movie I have yet to see yet, by the way, Avatar. You can't put a $150 million Superman out in the atmosphere that Avatar is making water look like apparently I can theater. So the standard's been set, So this is it. This is I hate the fact that this first movie has to have that much pressure on it, but half of it is they put themselves in this position with if so many decisions are true, and the other half is because you had a previous regime for 5 years we're going to give me Wonder Twins, gave me a bad Harley Quinn movie that could have been much better, and put a good Suicide Squad movie in an ocean with nothing to support it, and continue to the water down the brand. That's not James Gunn's fault, but guess what? That's where he is. He knew it when he took it. So no pick and save Superman, and
unless we see, like Daniel said, Clark Kent just walking from job to job.
Yeah.
From one thing to the next. Let's see. I got a couple more things here that is CW still releasing that trash Gotham Knight show? Yeah, unfortunately. Val Kilmer was a great Bruce Wayne. I actually like Val Kilmer. Yep. Yeah. Tom Welling is the best TV Superman. I really like Tom Welling. I really like Tom Welling. Brandon Routh, Kingdom Come Superman should have happened. I agree, but I think it's easy to agree to something like that like it would have to make sense, as far as a movie, and I don't know if they're at that point yet. That's the
all due respect to Brandon Routh. I thought he did a great Superman. It wasn't his fault the movie was bad, and I thought he was one of the better parts of Crisis, that disposal. But if there's a Kingdom Come Superman, and once again, James Gunn, if you're watching, if you're in the chat right now, and you do a Kingdom Come Superman, and you've gone on with your other Superman, and you do a Kingdom Come Superman, and it's not Henry Cavill. Oh my goodness! I'm gonna unfollow your Twitter page because they're gonna tear you up over that.
Those are harsh words there, buddy.
No. Not because I don't like them, because I'm not gonna want to see that backlash. If they do a Kingdom Come Superman, I'm just like, dude, I'm gonna wish you well. I'll tweet. I duck duck, because they're going to come after your ass if you do a Kingdom Come Superman and it's not Henry Cavill.
I'm going to come on you like nobody's ever come on you before. Just you and I getting it on like two men should do.
Because the CW universe that followed that Crisis nonsense is not bigger than the Henry Cavill audience, and that if you do Kingdom Come, it's got to be Cavill, man. That's just my opinion.
I hear you, man. Hecklin's permanent 5 o'clock shadow. Apparently, the Superman's heat vision is too weak to shade. Maybe he just likes the look. Toronto Freddy says. Point Extra Lounge, have you seen the trailer for the animated Superman Lives web series?
I wish I could have unseen it. Yeah.
I am not about Cage ever playing Supes, but it looks dope. Oh. I did see it.
Ooh. I'm sorry. It's awful.
Okay, look, I will say this. It is intriguing. There is something about Superman Lives as a concept with Nicolas Cage that if you told me that movie could be made without us having to worry about it being the main continuity Superman going forward, and this is who was going to be there, and this is what we're going to do, and we're throwing all of our eggs in this basket, but we're just going to make this weird thing for people to watch, I'd probably look at it and go, okay. But I'm sorry, yeah. I gotta agree. Watching that web series trailer, it looked okay until, but Nicolas Cage's Superman looked. You know what? He reminded me of the Riddler from the Batman cartoon. He's just the lanky, skinny with the hair had no movement. I mean, it just. It just laid there, and gosh, man, I really wanted to like it, and I did kind of like it, but not that part. I didn't like that visual. That visual for Superman just did not do it for me.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage, with all due respect, if you're watching the Poindexter now right now, because he lives here in Vegas, he may be. I think you're a decent actor. I think you were great in City of Angels. You won an Academy Award for leaving Las Vegas, and I didn't think that was your year, but hey, that's fine. But anything about you as Superman, I cannot keep looking at it. It's a train wreck that I can turn away from.
Hey, right. And by the way, Freddie, I'm sorry I didn't put that as a super chat because I didn't realize it was a super chat. I missed that, but I did get your comment up. But he said the same thing in a $5 Canadian super chat. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Elliot Page for Superman. Why not? Here's the other thing too. Dear God, no,
Timothée Chalamet is going to be busy. He's not going to have time. He's making two movies.
But here's the thing: I don't want. This is my concern for Superman going forward. A lot of the people that I saw. People naming names for saying, "Oh, what about this guy? What about this guy? What about this guy so far?"
Well, it's fan casting.
I know it's fan casting, but guys, please stop. I do not want to see some skinny little, tiny, short Superman. Can we please have a Superman that we don't have to do camera tricks to make him look bigger than he is, or have him stand on something when he's next to somebody else? I saw something this week, William, that I can never unsee now.
Is it Rick Astley?
No. I saw something this week that I never noticed before, but that now I can never unsee. Tiffany and I were watching a movie, and all of a sudden, we shut the movie off. We shut off our Roku, and it went back to the regular television. And when we went back to regular television, Back to the Future 2 was on, and it was the scene where they're in the garage. They just went back to the new 1985, and stuff like that. And they're just now figuring out, where they're at. And Doc's, telling him like, no, we can't go back to the future, Marty, because, Biff came back and blah, blah, blah. And Tiffany was mentioning to me, she goes, I saw something about the fact that, Christopher Lloyd in the entire movie, he's always bending down because he didn't want to stand up straight because he's so much taller than
Michael J.
Fox that he never wanted to stand up straight. So like she's like, if you notice, he's always like bending down towards Marty and like in Marty's face. And I say, oh yeah, but then there's this scene where it's where Marty pulls up the paper and he looks at the paper, and here comes Doc behind him, and you can literally see Michael J. Fox step up onto something to appear taller as Christopher Lloyd comes from the background so that they're more on point and looking at each other in the eye. And now I can never unsee that, William. I was like, how have I never seen that or noticed that before? But because Tiffany mentioned the other thing, I just happened to be looking at Michael J. Fox and I went, hold on, did he just step up on something? And I rewound it and we watched it probably like 5-6 times and I went, there it is. There it is. He was stepping up on something.
You got a memory chat. I got it on the other screen. You want me to read it?
You know what? Let me see. Let me see real quick if I can just pull it up.
It's Peter Rabbit's Defender.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Here are my.
I wish they would fix that.
I wish they would too, man. It's so annoying. And again, we always apologize to our viewers, those who have member chats, man, because you guys are awesome. Like Peter Rabbit's Defender has been a member for 19 months, and you know, I just wish that StreamYard would just put it out there, man, that, you know, there's a member chat because it pulls up all the other super chats and other stuff that we don't even want it to. But okay, so here he says, let me go to the little thing I got here. Here he says, as a proud Zack Snyder supporter, I'm so disappointed for the toxic Snyder cult has now become after going after James Gunn, and that Reddit post about San Diego Comic-Con 23 are too much. Yeah, look, Peter Rabbit's Defender, I'm right there with you, man. It's a problem. It really is. And like I said, it's entirely possible that, you know, I don't want to fall back on, oh, it's probably, you know, not real or whatever. I don't like the fact that exists. I don't like the fact that somebody did that. And if it is somebody who truly wants to consider themselves a fan of Zack Snyder, and if they're going to that length for a movie series and saying things that sound like threats, that's way too far. And I'm sorry, I've told you all, I love Zack Snyder. I love his work. I love those movies. I will never apologize for that. But I will not ever support that kind of action. And I will never act like it's okay, because it's not.
Yeah, so it's embarrassing.
Yeah, but Levon, yeah, you know what? Maybe as a Superboy, right? But you know, Peter Chalamet, no, man. Peter
Dinklage. Okay. Here's the thing about when it comes to these casting. See, I'm on the opposite end on you on this one. Here's the thing. I don't agree, RJ. I don't agree. I do not agree. I'm sorry. No. When it comes to picking an actor, there are certain criteria that we have as fans that might not line up what is needed for the necessary of the movie. A storyteller is going to sit across the room for a table with a prospective actor or actress and see things in them that we will never be able to see. Like somebody sat across from Heath Ledger and saw the Joker. All right, and that's why when people fan cast, they're casting on things that what our perception of the character is, you know, and these actors literally get paid to look like and become someone else. Some of them do it better than the others. But if you gave me somebody like anybody on these lists that that are on these lists, I wouldn't have an issue with, because I know I'm going to have a good makeup artist. I know I'm going to have a good trainer. So if I get a stick man in here and he signs on to the job after the conversation I had, say, hey, we're going to need you to look like this and bulk up and be like this. And if you take that job, you need to become what we need you to be. And a good actor is going to do that. So the guys that you think that might be too skinny or might be too whatever, listen, they go to the gym and bulk up, get a trainer, and you know, and become what you need to be. You know what? Mannerisms. Robert Pattinson's Batman. I had no problem with Robert Pattinson's Batman, and it was unlike any of the stuff that I had seen him in prior to, because that's literally his job, is to become something else, to become something he is not. So whenever people say, well, I don't think this guy can do this guy can do that, that is literally their job. That's like telling a magician he can't do magic. That is literally what they do. So I'm okay with any of these guys. I'm just hoping that that everything comes together, because like the actor that plays Superman is not only going to have to look and feel once the makeup art is done, he's going to have the mental stamina to deal with all the backlash that's not fair. He's going to have a lot of heat going on him, just like Cavill did. Cavill had to take the Christopher Reeve, but it's going to be worse for this next guy because Reeve Superman was 20, 30, 40 years ago. Cavill Superman is literally here now. So it's there you go.
Okay, so I don't want to sidetrack back necessarily into a topic that I brought up earlier, but Bill, if you're asking, I got to ask, have you seen the post that was made on Reddit? Because honestly, look, I have fought against the idea and the notion of a Snyder cult for the better part of a couple of years now, ever since that word first started getting spun around, because I don't feel like most people are like that. I was mentioning today, even as I was sharing that picture, that post around to a few people that I know, none of the people that I know in the fandom share this type of sentiment. But I will, and I'll just kind of bring it up here again for those who didn't see it in the beginning of the show. When, like I said, if it's real, this is a problem. And you know what? I will absolutely say, this is not just being a hardcore Snyder fan. This shows some mental instability. If this is real, this shows some mental instability, and it's very cultish. Look, I work in a church. I've seen all kinds of crazy people do some crazy stuff, and I've distanced myself from that. This kind of stuff I will distance myself from in a heartbeat, because these are not just fans who are hardcore fans and they just really want what they want. If somebody says it's time, boys, to do the do, first of all, it's a stupid statement, but whatever. We will own San Diego Comic-Con 2022, so they're going to go back in time, apparently. No. It says, but save up. It will be a day for the history books. So far, so good. They'll know not to F with the supporters of the Snyderverse. What does that mean? What do you mean F with us? I'm sorry, but look.
It sounds like January 6th stuff.
Yeah, fight for what you love. I get it. But a movie is a movie. And what does that mean? Not to F with us. I'm sorry. Nobody's come into my house and like picking a fight with me. Yeah. People do stuff that I don't like all the time, but I'm not taking it so seriously to myself that I'm going to go fight somebody for it. And it says, let's get the ball rolling. More details will have to be released on a more private domain and briefing on what will go down. Why can't you publicly talk about what you're going to do if you're going to do a peaceful protest? If you're going to do something that like is going to support the Snyderverse, and like they did before, where they did banners and they did posters and they did signs and stuff like that. Those were public displays, man, that you could be happy about. When they did the truck that drives around and says, hey, release the Snyder Cut. Like, those were positive things. What are you doing that you got to get in private, on a private domain, to talk about what's going to go down? And then it says, we won't stop until they take us out by any means necessary.
Yeah, that's a problem. Listen, and what's happened here is too many people on both ends, the anti-Snyder people and guys like this, have made this a part of their identity that they cannot move on without. Right. It's like the dog that chases the car. But this right here has become an unhealthy part of their identity. It's not even about Snyder. This is what they use. They found this community, and they've taken their part in the community higher than just a gathering. This is more than just gathering. This is a part of their psyche now that they cannot do without, and it's not healthy.
Yeah, I just don't think that I'll defend the movies all day long, Bill.
Yeah,
Bill, I'll go. Look, I've gone to town with people over that kind of stuff all day long, man. But like when it says right here, it says, you must realize we are at war with wicked powers. What?
It's a movie. And like I said, I'll defend these movies as well. But listen, Bell's a combat veteran as well as I do.
Right.
We know what real fights are. We know where we can take things. I will give every bit of fandom as far as getting a story told as I can. I will take it to its logical conclusion. but this rhetoric is just not good. If you want to defend BBS all the way to the Cowboys, because I'm right there with you.
Right,
but
me too.
I'm not going to hurt. I'm not going to. This, it's like I said. This has become a part of these guys, and it's are these guys fans of the content, or is this their rallying point? Is this the best?
I don't know, but then it goes on to say, think about Cavill, Ray Fisher, Gal, Affleck, Jason. This is for them. Death before dishonor. San Diego San Diego Comic-Con is ours. It's ours. Will be remembered, boys. Keep in tune for updates. I'm sorry. People start talking like that. Yep, I'm done. I'll check out of that all day. I am not going to be a part of anything that's associated with that.
Yeah, the feds reading that tweet and be like, hey, maybe we need to prevent something.
And Toronto, Freddie, you get right out of here with that Josh Gad crap. Josh Gad better not come anywhere close to being considered for Superman. Also, hey, Daniel here. Thank you, Daniel, with a $5 super chat, says it's a lose-lose situation for recasting Supes for me. If he looks too much like Cavill, I'll feel like it's a repeat of Routh and Reeve.
Well, Superman looks like Superman does. He is 6'2". He is of a very decent to superior build. He does have black hair. So anybody you cast that's going to have those features is probably going to look like each other. So
yeah,
I get what he's saying. But I think the inherent physical characteristics of Clark Kent is probably going to end up with somebody looking like the previous people, because that was the goal when you casted them. That's what he looks like in the comics. It's it. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, she said, "Oh, I didn't see that," and then she put, "Oh, all right. Yeah, that is extreme." Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like I'm not trying to pick fights with anybody, in the fandom or anything like that, man. Because look, I want it as much as anybody else, and I'll go to fight for that, like in a non-literal sense. I'm not going to go to war with people. You know what I mean? Like it's a movie series, man. Yeah. And
come back to us. It's capes, it's costumes, and like I said, if you want to go fight in a war, I got plenty of friends who are recruiters that will gladly help you burn off this energy somewhere, but not about comic book stuff. I mean, and the one that disturbed me is the one I think you may have showed it, but I've seen it everywhere with the beheaded James Gunn. That's just completely, you've lost your mind. When you've gotten to that level, you have lost your mind. When you start posting pictures of decapitated anything like that.
That's what I said too.
That jarred me. And there's not a lot jars me, but I'm like, and I saw it at first and didn't see the head. I'm like, are you out of your mind? I mean, I don't care what James Gunn decides. That's uncalled for. There is no place in human decency for that. Comic book lore or not. TV shows, football, fanatics, people get crazy about their team. When you start doing that graphic type of stuff, you're not there anymore. You're not there for what it's there for. These movies are there to have fun with. Sports is my release. I get caught up in sport. I put holes into walls when my team loses, especially if it's sudden death hockey and things like that. But I'm not going to put a hole into a person. When I put my holes in these walls and I'm mad and I throw my hat and I kick my little jersey around and I come down, I stay down and I go about life. There is no, it is a comic book character that if we live long enough, we're going to have different interpretations of these characters. We do not need to go full Death Martyr over it.
Interesting thing about this, if you get the McFarlane toys, the Superman toys will tell you that Superman is 6'3".
6'3". Superman is 6'3".
Superman is 6'3", and Batman is 6'4".
Yeah, Batman is actually described as a tall, toned individual, whereas Superman is a taller person with a more established physique. That is whenever you read any interpretation of him, and if you look at how he's drawn, how they've always drawn him, that's pretty much what they've always kept. But Yeah, it's dude. Everybody just needs a, like I said, it's
yeah.
not
Apparently, we found out whoever wrote that thing, it got taken down from Reddit, with some other things, you know.
Yeah, the feds. Look at what's going on in the world. I mean, if I'm a Fed and that gets to me, some people are going to get questioned. Relax, guys. It's not that's serious.
Right. Simon Section with a $4.99 super chat. Thanks, bud. Says, by any means necessary, Malcolm X or Magneto. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
DC.
Put that energy into something that can actually needs that kind of energy. This isn't it. This is
right.
Not it.
There's plenty of things that like in life are worth going to battle for, right? But like, gosh, man, and there are different ways of like, of battling, you know.
How the Snyder Cut came about was that was
a battle.
Blueprint. That's a blueprint, though. Nobody got hurt. Most of us didn't threaten anybody. I mean, and it got done. I mean, and like I said, even James Gunn is listening to people who have common sense and are not coming at him with a machete like this.
Right.
So, and to his credit, like I said, I think he's going to do just fine. I just wish this has been rolled out better. This rollout is so far has just been like how not to make a first impression.
Eat my tacos. I wish I knew.
I can tell you. It's been around for 85 years, and there's been so many generations that have a death grip of what these characters mean to them.
Oh yeah.
And they've been in movies. Before there was even a Marvel, there was already DC serials. All right. DC is the established brand that your grandfather saw. And some of you, if you're young enough, your great grandfather saw it. My grandfather read Superman comics while he was in World War II. My dad grew up with Superman. I grew up with Superman. So, but each of us have a different view of what that character means to us. So, whenever you put a version, any version, doesn't matter who it is, in front of all these existing generations, you are always going to have drama because these characters have a special place in people's heart and the times that they grew up with. My dad is going to attach what Superman meant to him to his childhood and the environment and his memories there. I'm going to attach Superman to my upbringing, and same thing with my grandpa, and up and up and up. And that's what it's going to be. So whenever you put out anything, it's going to be contrary to that, no matter what. Whoever is making a Superman for 2023 is making it in the times that we exist in now. All right. And that is going to clash with several versions of these characters. Marvel does not have that issue yet, but they will as they continue to make these movies. When you start to recast people like Logan, when you start to recast people like Captain America and all that, you're going to start doing different generations. Now, what DC has done, and if this is true, they're not just giving you a different interpretation of a Superman. They're giving you an interpretation of a Superman while there is a Superman in existence. Every one of these characters and every one of these previous Supermans, for the most part, ran out their clock. Nolan's Batman ran out their clock. Adam West ran out their clock. You got the ending and resolution. Here you have them doing it while the Superman sits there in front of you. So not only do you have the multi-generational class, you have an intergenerational class, which is why this is an uphill battle. And this is why most reboots fail. Most reboots fail on their own. Now you're talking about an intergenerational one where you still have the same audience that you fed that previous Superman in, and now you're going to give him a new one. So you're increasing the heat and you're increasing the drama. All right, and like I said, this is it impossible? No, it's just very possible that he could pull this off. But all this heat that's coming of it is natural, And like I said, I will make a T-shirt and a hat that says this: most reboots fail. Reboots are not a good idea under most circumstances. This situation, it's really a bad idea because you still have the characters in the zeitgeist. You still have the characters. We have not been given an opportunity to grow past these characters because they were never given a proper resolution, and they're still filled with people that could pull these characters off. So,
sure, but I mean, in that same, and I agree with that, but in that same breath, if they're going to start dropping actors like they are, you got to.
Yeah, but even if they do,
you got to start over again.
Even if you do that, dropping the actors and rebooting, Henry Cavill is still in existence. He's still on this planet. Gal Gadot is still here. Jason Momoa is still these characters that have been associated to these IPs for the last 10 years didn't grow old, and we did not naturally move on from them. They were taken. And so when you're rebooting right there's an axe right against you right there, that you're doing this while the characters that were previously playing these characters never got resolution and are still out there.
I agree with that, William. I just think that if you are going to start getting rid of characters for one reason or another, if it's money issues, if it's something else, whatever, you have to, you got to do something. You can't just act like, well, the universe is the same universe.
Oh, I agree. Which is why you don't do that.
I know, but I mean, you know what I mean?
You get your mileage. I'm just saying,
you give a proper closing to it and you move on then, but I mean, but my before we move on to the next thing here, I would just tell all of you, if you're the writer of that thing.
So just chill out. Drink a 7-Up, eat a moon pie, quit murdering people.
So there you go. Okay. Yeah. So let me make sure in the chat everybody's good.
Nobody needs to die over comic book characters.
No, and people don't need to be threatening people either. Nobody needs to even be threatening people. Okay, so here's going to be a fun one. I got a couple more here, and I want to get your take on this, because have you seen The Glass Onion yet?
No, I have not.
I have. I really enjoyed Glass Onion.
I like Knives Out. I
really like Knives Out. I will say maybe not as much as the first one, but man, it's right up there. You know what I mean? There's not like some huge drop off, I feel, of quality, when it comes to the movies. I thought it was really good. It's unfortunate that things happen the way that they did, but I read an article that people are they either really, really love it, Glass Onion, or they really, really hate it. And that's just kind of Rian Johnson, I think. It's people feel very, very strongly about The Last Jedi, for example. I personally love it, but I'm one guy, and there's a lot of people who just feel, hatred for it. But it was really good. But something interesting came out of all this, and that is Rian Johnson says that Dave Bautista is the greatest wrestler turned actor ever.
He is correct. He is 100% correct.
This was interesting. Rian Johnson agrees with the notion that Dave Bautista is the best of the pro wrestlers who later became actors. As impressive as Hulk Hogan might have been in Suburban Commando, Rian Johnson is naming Dave Bautista as the best wrestler turned actor in Hollywood. Recently, Johnson was able to work with Bautista for the Knives Out sequel, Knives Out: A Glass Onion Mystery. The film is now available on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, you can go watch it. But it's been garnering strong reviews, ranking high with both critics and audiences alike at Rotten Tomatoes. Its tomato meter score and audience score are both sitting at 93% as of the writing of this article. A lot of the praise for Glass Onion is going to its ensemble cast, and Bautista has been a standout performer for many. Speaking about the film in a new interview with The Atlantic, Johnson notes how Bautista was also the actor who surprised him most of all with his performance. Bautista's character was originally written as someone much smaller, who was overcompensating. Smaller, who was overcompensating, but Johnson was enamored by the casting once Bautista's name was brought up, which I think is interesting too, because in it he's actually playing an online influencer, like a Twitch guy who plays video games and stuff, and so you wouldn't really think of that, I mean, your mind doesn't just immediately go to Bautista. But he says, when I was writing his character, a men's rights streamer named Duke Cody, I was picturing a scrawny dude who's trying to overcompensate. When Bautista was brought up, I was instantly so smitten by the idea. I've been a very big fan of his dramatic chops as an actor. Johnson has been so impressed with Bautista that he's predicting more good things to come from the former WWE superstar. When interviewer David Sims referred to Bautista as low-key the greatest wrestler to actor ever, Rian Johnson had this to say in response: I absolutely 100% agree. And I think that somebody like Paul Thomas Anderson is going to give him a real part and is going to look like a genius. As a person, Batista is genuinely immediately vulnerable when you meet him, and that's what I was excited about. This is someone who has the physical trappings of someone who would play it big, but he actually brings sensitivity to the role. Look, I'm going to say this. You guys know, if you guys been around, I got to interview Batista last year for Justice Con. And everything that he just said there is 100% true. Dave came in, didn't know who I was. We had never met up to that point. We just talked for a couple of minutes. He had just gotten his COVID shot, so he was feeling a little down. And we immediately, like when the interview started talking about his family, started talking about things that he loved. He was drawn into that, and he was very vulnerable. He started talking about his family, started talking about why he wanted to be an actor. I loved listening to, like, guys, seriously, go to the Nerd Queens YouTube channel. You can find that on there. My interview with Dave Batista. I
watched it live. I loved it.
Yeah, he was so open about how he takes acting seriously. He wants to play different kinds of roles, and you can really see through the different roles that he has taken, and especially in like this Glass Onion movie. I mean, completely different from the stuff that that he just did. That when we saw him in Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, right? And then we're looking at like this next year he's going to be in M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin or whatever.
He's in Dune 2, right? He didn't die at the end. He's in Dune 2, I believe, right? Or did he? Did his
Who's
character? Batista's in Dune 2. He's one of the main.
Oh yeah, he's in Dune. Yeah, he's in Dune. So I would just say, like, I am so impressed with what he has done. And when you compare that to somebody like The Rock, who has maybe had some box office success, and he's been doing it for a lot longer, but also look at Batista, how every role that he takes, he seems to challenge himself. And he talked about that, about getting into acting and wanting to take it seriously and build his chops and become a serious actor. Not just like I guess he's literally turned down like offers to be in movies with John Cena and The Rock because he doesn't want to be just typecast with them. Like, it's no offense to them, but he wants to plot his own course. And I think that's awesome because it's showing. And I think that it's really showing that he can do it. And I think if you look at The Rock, to me, one of my complaints about The Rock is The Rock doesn't stretch himself. He doesn't push himself to do anything better because he's got a formula that works for The Rock. And John Cena, that's yet to be.
He's getting better, but he has a longer way to go than Batista did. Batista just has an innate ability to really make you feel like believable. And one of the things about Dave Batista, and I said this years and years ago when Blade Runner 2049 first came out, he's only in the movie for 9 minutes, but his performance resonates throughout the entire movie. How he plays that part of Sapper Morton, he sets the tone and he sets the pace of that movie. And it carries even when he's not on the screen. That's hard to do when you're on the screen, but Batista sets the stage, and I truly believe this. I mean, I think they are all coming from a different place, and they've all put the different type of work in it that is relevant to the movies that they were playing. John Cena has been in movies where the level he's at is okay. The Rock has been in movies where the level he's at is okay. Batista's been in if you look at his catalog, his movies and his roles are, like you said, are very, very, very different from one to another. Whereas The Rock and John Cena, for the most part, are playing big brute type characters. He's not playing. He is a big person, 6'4", 250, but he is not playing that type of person when he's in these movies. And he also got started later than they did too. Dave Batista would be 54 in January. Mm-hmm. And he got done a lot later and got into acting a lot later. And he took it. I think a lot of that is he felt that he had to he had to become better quicker because he had lost a lot of time. Because he stayed in the wrestling game and the MMA game a lot longer than they did.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And yeah, John Cena is getting better. But yeah, I feel like, man, Batista has just shown himself to be the one to beat right now, man, when it comes to like real acting chops, you know, not just showing up and just being filmed on screen, but showing that he really is a good actor. Peter Rabbit's Defender here with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Peter Rabbit's Defender. Says Happy New Year 23, Enosh and William and RJ and all the chat members. Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Thank
Peter
you.
Thank you.
Also,
man.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy seems like he's playing a buffoonish character, but that takes acting. That takes some real acting to do what he does when he's playing Drax. And when you look at that role, you look at Drax, and you look at you look at a Blade Runner 2049, or you look at a thing like you were bringing up in Glass Onion. He is just he just has the dimensions that the other two just don't have. He can go places with his ability that the other two just either don't have or haven't been asked to go. But Batista has put himself in positions where he has that dynamic, and I love Batista as an actor.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Batista talked about that when he got the role of Drax, like he had worked so hard for that when he got it, he just broke down because he was ready to give up. He was literally ready to give up. And it meant that much to him, So, yeah, I mean,
I agree with that statement 100. I've been saying that for a while because, like I said, I mean, you don't have to watch all of Blade Runner 2049. Just watch the opening, and then whatever else you watch Dave Batista in, realize that that's the same guy who opens that movie that's playing your Drax the Destroyer, that's playing all these other things that you're going to see him in. He has multi dimensions, which was really cool. Like I said, I wish he'd have got started earlier, but that's why he's getting enough roles now. He's definitely getting enough. I think he may have as many roles as Cena has already total.
Yeah. And the thing is also Batista's roles are quality roles.
Yeah,
they're not just bit parts, and like even the things that he does have like a small role in, he's powerful and impactful in that small role.
Yeah.
He's not just showing up like John Cena, like he was in Trainwreck, for example, with Amy Schumer, right? And I thought that movie was fun. Bill Hader was great in that movie. Like I really enjoyed that movie. And John Cena was funny in that movie, but like he was the punchline of like a bunch of jokes for just being a big meathead. You know what I mean? And he didn't really have to do anything crazy, but just be muscular and, awkward.
He gained a lot of miles. He grew a lot in just Peacemaker alone. You see him evolve. I mean, he's not all the way there yet, but the evolution of his ability you see movement at least, just in Peacemaker alone. Yeah. Actually, at the end of us, a Suicide Squad, you saw growth there too as well.
Yep. Simon Section here with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Simon. Says I was frozen today. You were frozen today.
He's probably in Buffalo or one of those places where the blizzards are just crushing.
I'll tell you what, man. I was cold today too. I actually pushed to. I did something today that I've never done. I've never worked on cars in my entire life, and today I went to replace a couple of solenoids in the car because Tiffany's car broke down, and we actually fixed them, only to find out that the codes that we were getting back were probably caused because it broke a timing chain. Ugh. And that sucks. That sucks a lot. But you know what? I was very impressed because my mechanic friend came over and said that I did a good job. And so, so I was happy about that. Okay. Real quick, because we have a guest with us. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a good guy. We love him. It's been a while since he's been here on the lounge. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Mr.
Is the final vault for Stefan Beletsky.
Father and coach Usten Beletsky looking on.
Wrong one. That's the wrong drop. It's been so long since I've used this stinking drop. I used the wrong drop. Here it is. It's the drop called Brian Intro. Here you go.
He wants to be perfect because the competition is being broadcast on national television. Brian Ryan charges down the runway. But then he slams into the pommel horse with tremendous force and collapses in agony.
It's been a while. What is going on, fellas?
Burn that hat.
Excuse me?
Burn that hat.
I got another one. Hang on. It's even better.
I'll take that one.
That one. They may actually win something this year, so there you go. It's much better.
They might. Big Rooster Brock Purdy all the way. No, I'm just kidding. How you guys doing?
Doing all right, man. Living the life.
Doing really good, man. Doing really good. Yeah. It's good to be on the air 2 nights in a row. I got a new microphone. You guys see the new Shure microphone that Tiffany bought me? Yeah, apparently I got to get an actual like new adapter now for this thing for the microphone stand because it's got a weird like base to it, but I got it up on here and so it's working. It's working just fine. So now I should be able to sound really nice and sexy.
Absolutely. No, you guys sound like you're all having a good time tonight. You're putting over my boy Dave Bautista, who I think is a honestly, I agree with Ryan Johnson's assessment.
Yeah, well, Macho Man played a wrestler, so I don't know how much of an acting job that was.
Hulk Hogan was in Suburban Commando.
Hey, I got this bad boy for Christmas. Tiffany bought me this, and she saw that I wanted this, and I was like, when I opened it up, what do you think I said? Oh yeah,
it looks like
the madness. Yeah, I got 3 heads, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. An extra set of hands there with gloves because that's what a real man does. Yeah.
Thank you, Peter Rabbit's Defender. I've been working on this shit for a long time. 6 months. Haven't shaved this portion, and it's filling in nicely. Like
oh yeah, look at you.
Somebody brought up They Live. Roddy Piper sadly did not do enough acting jobs to really get to that point. Rest in peace. But the one movie he did do was great, but he never really. There was just never enough time for him to evolve into anything beyond what he and he had health issues towards the end there, so it sucked. He was only 61 when he passed away.
Thank you. I don't know if you're joking with me, but yeah, like I feel like I do sound better. I do have to hook up my I don't have my soundboard. I have a mixer.
Your soundboard, the mixer makes it.
Like yeah, I got to hook it up to the mixer to actually get some volume because I feel like I'm straining my voice a little bit actually. Because somebody said earlier that I sounded a little bit lower, so I've been trying to get like a little because when I was back here they said that I wasn't as loud. No. So and I don't feel like I'm as loud as I normally am because I feel like I'm straining my voice a little bit to hear myself a little bit more. But so I've been kind of trying to get in a little closer for tonight. But I'm gonna set up my my mixer for because I got to put it in my interface, but I got it turned up as loud as I can on my interface. So I got to put it into the mixer. But other than that though, like I'm really enjoying it so far. Ease of use, it's pretty good. But yeah, I think we all agree. I think gosh, man, everybody pretty much. I mean, I know there's some joking in there and everything, and thank you, Yudusaka. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Trying to bring up the levels here. You know what I mean?
Not only that. Honestly, though, like I was one of the many that watched your interview last year, or almost last year, at SnyderCon, where you talked to Dave Bautista, and he talked about how much he enjoyed acting, the craft. Like,
yes,
that's what gets me excited about it. Like, you don't hear John Cena or The Rock talk about that stuff. It's more like, I'm action hero. Ha ha.
Yeah. I like the way he approached that interview, by the way. You're not a nobody, Enosh, but we're not like Entertainment Tonight, or we're not like CNN. Did you the way he set up his setup for your interview to make sure that he had a quality setup for you? I thought that was cool.
He was in his kitchen, bro. That was like, dude.
He's in his kitchen.
So you guys don't even know. You guys don't even know. Like, I literally only saw him for like a few seconds before we went on the air. Like, his assistants were the ones like checking the microphone levels and doing all the things, and they were having problems with the microphone. So like we couldn't hear him, like his assistant who was doing all the stuff and everything. And then like all of a sudden Dave was just there, and it was go time, and we just went. and yeah, but I mean, yeah,
and you made the dirt sheets. Good on you.
Gosh, man. Good times.
Meltzer?
Good times. Good. You know what? Yeah. I mean, isn't that cool? Isn't that cool, man?
I'm pretty sure Meltzer actually quoted Dinosh's stream.
Yeah, isn't that great? Like, that was cool, man. Because we had a string of those actually. Because with the Ray Fisher interview, we had a ton of outlets from all over the world who quoted us on that. And look, hey, it's just nice. It's just nice. It's a nice thing.
It's fun looking back. Okay. Like, you guys are my friends and we haven't hung out recently, but like we had a good time.
I have a Star Trek model maker coming on Friday.
As soon as Star Trek Picard season 3 kicks off, or at least Discovery, I will be on your show, William. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, man, we got to talk about Picard season 3 at some point, man. But yeah.
Well, I got to the point where talking about Star Trek, I'm very surface level on my criticism, so I'm like, I can't. But like, it was like taking away the enjoyment.
Yeah, there's just so many dimensions of Trek out there. There's really no reason to be fighting over Star Trek. Everybody has a Star Trek that they can. I mean, if you don't like that Trek, here's that Trek.
No. All I'll say is that Gene Roddenberry was a secular humanist, and that's just what he did.
Yeah.
Sorry, RBM1. Said that. Said that out loud.
That was an interesting thing this week, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That was weird. That was weird.
Yeah. It was pathetic.
I didn't know what to take of that, because I'm like, these two individuals exceed. What's going on here? I mean, why are you calling out
clout?
But Robert Bryan Burnett, I'm like, dude. I mean, I don't.
There's nothing to gain.
Yeah, there's nothing to gain by even acknowledging it.
But there was something to be gained on the other end,
Yeah,
so it's all good.
Well, yeah. Look,
right.
gosh, man, I have been in the middle. I have been in the middle of enough of those things to understand.
I know. I'm so jealous.
Once
of you
people
for being
get
out of it, bro.
once somebody gets something in their mind, they will literally go. There are some people who will just take something, like they say something and it sounds good in their head, and then like that becomes their mantra, that becomes their thing, and it's perfect that we're talking about wrestling, because what I've noticed is a lot of people on YouTube in that,
digital chest thumping,
in that whole thing, there's a lot of people who literally go from one opponent to the next. Okay.
Bingo.
And I've had people message me and go, "Hey, why don't you call out this person? You should call out this person. You should call out that." And I try to remind people, look, there have been times, yes, where I've called out people and I've said things, about individuals and stuff.
One person was a fucking coward.
But
shut up.
I will say this. When I call out somebody, it's because I feel passionately about it, and it's not just because I'm a dick, and it's not just because I'm just trying to be a jerk about it. It's because I have a legitimate gripe with something somebody's doing, because I feel that it affects others in a negative way. And I feel that it causes either confusion or it's actual harm that it can cause to people, or something like that. And so it's legitimate. And I don't care if it's Snyderverse people, just like I've showed the thing twice tonight. I hate that. I showed the picture last night of them with James Gunn's head, up and stuff like that. That is wrong. It's garbage. It's trash. It's disgusting. And it should never be something that anybody who claims to be a fan of Zack Snyder's work should ever produce or say or do. And if you do that, you're missing the entire point. You've lost the plot, and you should just remove yourself from the equation of these films and from these things, and take a step back and realize what you've become.
Yep.
And I will say the same thing on either end for anybody.
20-year-olds.
For anybody. And all the times that I've ever said anything, when I've called out anybody for anything that I have felt is wrong, it's because of my personal convictions. I can't judge. It's just my personal convictions. You know what I mean? But I'm not in a thing where like I go from like one opponent to the next, and I'm like, ooh, who am I going to call out this week? You know what I mean? It's like, that's not my thing.
No, Enosh, what I noticed is that we got united in a hatred. Do you know another group that got united in a hatred?
Yeah, turn to that.
Not cool, bro. That's what fucked up Star Wars. Excuse my language, but that's
Star Trek. Star Trek too.
Star Trek. Oh no. I just got done watching Chaos on the Bridge. If you've never watched that, guys, if you don't understand what toxic fandom is, watch Chaos on the Bridge. The nonsense that went through Star Trek in the first 2 seasons of Next Generation.
They protested. Remember that? Those cats.
They had a writer's strike in the second season. They had 30 different writers in the first 2 seasons of the show. The studio would not quit messing with the show.
Yeah, it sort of got canceled. What we would consider canceled today because of the syndication. The people who were putting out owned so many syndication markets. And Star Trek got moved from a network to syndication. Yeah,
first run syndication.
Yep, which was not even a thing.
Yeah, no, guys. When I talk about DC, I come from a place of talking about Star Trek.
Ugh.
Yeah, you want to talk about a mess of a fandom.
2004 and from 2001 to about 2016, it's being a Star Trek
from 1986 to present.
Well, there was
that's
some
not
healing
my
time.
Trek. That's not my Trek. I don't like Picard.
But most of the time, though, they started out with that noise before Next Generation came out, but slowly but sure, once Best of Both Worlds came out, everybody was on board, and then they were popular enough. Then that was their Trek. I lived with people. I knew people that were like, I'm not ever going to accept that, and I saw the ice melt over those 7 years. At 2001, when Star Trek Enterprise came out, the level of, when I call him old Trek fan, the guy who's got the Trek shirt on, it doesn't fit him anymore. He's wearing the tight Star Trek pants, doesn't fit him anymore.
I got that in my closet.
and he's choking the life out of this thing because it's not in the Bible that he thinks Gene Roddenberry would write. And I'm like, Gene Roddenberry wasn't. You guys must not have studied the man. And then they hate Berman and Braga. I'm like, I'm sorry. If you're sitting watching Star Trek today, you can attribute a lot of that to Berman and Braga because they were the ones that saved that show. The networks and Paramount were going to.
Okay, we just lost like 15 people, man. You guys talking about Star Trek?
Fine.
But I got to get to this point. Okay, Simon Section with the $4.99 super chat says, Enosh William, as fellow Gen Xers and movie buffs, I'm disappointed that you didn't recognize the Suburban Commando line voiced by Christopher Lloyd.
I did bring up Suburban
I was frozen
Commando,
today.
I was frozen today.
Now, I will say this. I did not. And you know what, Simon Section, you're absolutely right. And I feel very embarrassed by that. But I will say this.
Hey, you suck. Shut up.
You know what? We do have to bring up the fact that, yes, Hulk Hogan was an actor. And don't forget, I mean, I know Batista does a great job and all, but Hulk Hogan gave us this brilliant moment from No Holds Barred.
What's that smell?
Wasn't that guy in Law and Order?
That was absolute worst.
How he didn't
Brian didn't get a where I live.
Oh. Yeah, how he didn't get an Academy Award for that, I will never know. I will never know.
See, his appeal in that movie was exactly, he gave audience exactly what was expected of Hulk Hogan, because you weren't calling on Hulk Hogan to be an actor. You were literally calling on him to be Hulk Hogan in everything, that he was in. And that's, with Batista, it's different. He's actually an actor. He's actually, a good actor, and I'm happy for that.
We don't ask questions like that. You do suck. I mean, like, how is it? How does it look like he just sat in a puddle of water and it's Dookie? We don't know.
It was the 80s. It was 1989, homie.
Right.
This wasn't recent.
It was one of the trailers of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
I gotta love the fact though that Hulk Hogan's acting in that scene is about as good as my dog Harley Quinn. It's like, what's that smell?
I'm just laughing at the commercial, the trailer, because it was like, this is the 90s. We're gonna sue you.
Oh my gosh.
That line aged well.
Right? My gosh. Well, we were talking about that a little bit earlier tonight too, about like the whole thing, now you can sue these companies for, trailers that
and they're going to lose every single lawsuit they file.
Oh,
they're going to lose every single lawsuit they file. Anybody who files a lawsuit for that is going to lose that lawsuit. They will not win.
False advertising? Are you kidding me?
They're going to.
I just think, look, I Max was in here and he had some things to say about it, and I get it. I understand.
Max was in here, huh?
Yeah, he was in here at the beginning of the program, and he was giving his opinion, and like I totally understand it and I respect it, but
yeah, I don't. But all right.
In another way though, I just look at it as I just think that it opens up a huge can of worms for like just nonsense stuff. Like I didn't like this, or like this one little thing wasn't in the movie, so now I'm mad about it. And it's like, and I'm sorry, but I like trailers that have some prestige to it, and some of it is really cool because there's some stuff that you only got in a trailer, and it's cool because you only got it in a trailer.
Yeah, I mean, hype for the movie. Absolutely. They're going to lose. They could file 1,000 lawsuits. They're going to go 0-1,000. Because the judge is going to be like, the purpose of this trailer was not to present you with a part of the movie. The purpose of this trailer was to get you hyped for the movie. There is no fraud there. Now, what they said is that, yeah, you could sue them, but they didn't say you're going to win any of these lawsuits. Most of these lawsuits, if somebody's even dumb enough to file them, are going to get thrown out. They're not even going to get in front of a jury or anything like that.
Or like Krampus says here, studios will just countersue and take your house.
Yeah. Who do you think's got better lawyers?
Guys, are we forgetting that the studio owes us literally nothing?
Oh, you either pay.
They don't have to make
these
movies.
Don't.
They do not have to make these movies. Period. End of sentence. Like they don't have to make the shit. They don't owe us nothing.
Yeah, use your power as a consumer to either go see it or don't. That's really, you have the ultimate power there.
Look, I agree, and look, I
free
get
market
it.
Society, people.
I get it. I get it that like, look, if you, I just feel like you would have to prove that there was some kind of underhanded reason
malice.
Why.
You have to prove malice.
Yeah, you would have to. And like, how do you prove that because like a girl was in a passing scene in a trailer that made you like want to like dish out all this money to go see this movie or rent the movie or whatever? I mean, like, and what are your damages? You know what I mean? Like, what are your actual? I don't know. I just feel like it's a big ado about nothing.
5 minutes. First 5 minutes of the court appearances. Your Honor, yes, that person was in our movie at one point, but we filmed this trailer months in advance, and while we were still in pre-production, and when we finished production of the movie, her appearance was no longer needed as the movie evolved, and the judge is going to be like, case dismissed. That's it. There's going to be so many cases. I'm going to laugh at anybody who files this lawsuit. That is just the judge is going to laugh at you. It's going to be like night court. The judge is going to laugh at you. You're going to get laughed out.
I mean, a judge did say that there's possible provision for it. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of people try to push that.
I mean, I swear to God, if there's precedence for this, it's like,
no, they're not going. That's the one thing. They are not. No judge.
I will go full Geeks and Gamers and say the society is just done.
I like Triton's thing though. I do like Triton's thing because like Warner Brothers promised us a whole slew of DC movies. So
did Star Wars.
So much to the point where it's like I don't even trust the DC. I won't even trust that all of James Gunn's movies are going to come out until I actually know that they're like.
Until I bought my ticket, I'm sitting in the damn seat.
I'm
watching
watching
the trailer.
I'm watching Nicole Kidman advertise the theater that I'm already in. Then I know the movie's going to start. But once again, even if Triton was to sue this, the judge is going to be like, you incurred no damages because your ultimate choice resides in you to go see this movie once it has been presented or not. I mean, too many circumstances could cause, and like I said, we don't like the circumstances that led to these movies getting moved aside, but they are legitimate circumstances that are within the scope of a studio. So the judge is going to throw this lawsuit out. This is going to throw.
But you do suck is right.
Sound like the most entitled stuff you've ever heard in your life, though. Like honestly,
you do suck is right, though. Juries do like to award money for stupid things.
Yeah, but come on now.
I know, but you know what? A lot of stuff is actually based on loopholes. A lot of final outcomes are based on loopholes. I sat on a jury once where like we all sat there listening to this guy who was like in these people's houses and like it was a crazy story. This guy just showed up at these people's house at 1 a.m. and took off his pants down to his underwear and went into the grandma's room, came back out, sat on a chair and fell asleep. We're all like, well, it's trespassing, right? I mean, like that was even one of the counts. Technically, under the law, we could not get him for trespassing because technically they never asked him to leave because the lady thought it might have been one of her husband's friends and was waiting for her husband to get home. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's always like these little things. And it's like, we had to stand around and go, okay, we can't get him for that because it doesn't fall under the law. So, you know, so, I mean, there's always crazy things. Now, 4,000 brings up a point here. He says, William, you keep making insincere mockery examples. I think a studio should be sued if they advertise an actor, then that actor is not in the film you paid to see. But to what extent?
Who told you that the actor was supposed to show up? Who told you that the actor was supposed to show up? Sue them.
Fourth, this is dead on arrival, and here's why. If I say Enosh is going to be in my movie, and I am obligated to put out a trailer because that's what the production company wants. Well, at that point, Enosh is in my movie. As I get towards the end of the movie, the storyline has changed, the script has changed, so many things have changed that Enosh is no longer a fit for my movie. So I take Enosh out of my movie. That's a legitimate circumstance.
How much do you pay for a movie ticket?
Yeah, they're gonna.
How much do you pay for a movie ticket? And how much is the budget for the movie you're watching?
Yeah.
And like, and how much does it matter if they're in the movie or not? Right. I mean, look, Mark Hamill was in what? A minute of The Force Awakens?
30 seconds at best.
Right. So like, does that count? Or do you say, well, I'm going to go sue The Force Awakens. I'm going to go sue J.J. Abrams because I wanted more Luke Skywalker in that, and I felt that like Luke Skywalker was going to be more prominent.
Advertising for it
because he was in the advertising for it, right? You know,
they
I mean,
didn't advertise Henry Cavill in that damn movie. They didn't.
I do want to state that I do understand the idea of false advertising. I do understand that. Now, look, let's.
But did Black Adam in the trailer say, "Hey, Henry Cavill's going to be in this shit"?
No, but
exactly.
I think. Am I frozen?
Yeah, you're visually frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I will say. If there's a movie that is put out there that it's like starring this person.
Yeah.
Right? And like everything says it's starring this person, starring this person, starring this person, and then that person's not in the film. Well, there's something wrong there. But like to just see a passing person deliver a line in a trailer, to me is not a promise that I'm going to give up everything and just go watch that movie because of that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like if somebody's like dropping everything just go watch a movie like that, they probably should be a little bit more.
Well, here's another thing why it's dead on arrival. Here's another thing that's why it's going to be dead on arrival. And most of these will I'm sorry for it. They will get laughed out.
Oh, they will.
If the jury will be like, you know what? Here's your $15 back. Get out of my courtroom. You can't claim emotional damages because the decision making at the end of the day was up to you. You can read IMDb. There's so many ways, and the studios. They're going to side with the studios because otherwise you'll never get trailers again. You will never get trailers.
I work in retail. You know how many times I hear false advertising?
You know, and like
Every
I said,
day.
Okay. So so I got a super chat from Ryan that I want to get to, but I do want to answer this real quick. So Ryan, note that I'm getting to your super chat here. But let's see. Hold on a second here. The advertising. Okay. Yes. The advertising. I get that. Okay. So he said, then you have to say he's no longer in the movie, but here's the thing though. There's a lot of people who knew that she wasn't in the movie. And yes, we are talking about, I mean, that's what we're talking about. Cause he says, I guess the law is not on your side. That's not true. It's just stating that the judge said that people can sue for false advertising.
Doesn't mean you're going to win
in a trailer. You are going to have to prove so much that is more than just Ana de Armas isn't in this film. You have to prove malice. You have to prove that the studio sought to somehow use her in a way to harm people in some way You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot more. I'm not saying it's impossible. Look, fourth 1,000. No, I'm not saying it's impossible because I'm not going there because crazy things happen. I don't know if, to me personally, I think that we have to be a little careful between putting such importance on some things. Like I said, if you're told, like if I'm told this is a Star Wars movie and then I go in and it's it's a romantic comedy about something else, well, then I'm going to be upset. You know what I mean? Then that's false advertising. To see somebody in the movie, like, and I don't know, man, I didn't watch this movie, so I don't know. But I mean, how much were they really pushing? Like, she's the star of the film. I saw the movie. Okay. I did see the movie. I didn't know anything about Ana de Armas. I you know what I mean? Like, the movie was fine on its own. I don't think that the movie needed her to somehow survive. So, I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't remember anything about the film because I remember seeing the trailer for it and thinking, that looks like a cool movie. And then I saw the movie without even thinking somebody wasn't even there that was in the trailer. So I don't feel like, I'd have to go back and watch it to see like how they represented Ana de Armas. But I mean, did they really put her out there as like, she's the star of the film? Because
I'm sorry, you can't sue somebody over an opinion. Just come on.
Well, apparently you can sue them. But
my opinion is that you false advertise me.
Well, are you going to win?
You honey dick me.
Are you going to win?
Watch your movie.
That's the thing. You can sue anyone. Are you going to win? And like I said, you have to show intent to defraud. And this is just not the case. Is there intent to defraud versus what happens within the context of a production? So, like I said, fourth, I will send you a free comic for every judgment that they get. All right, I'm saying it right on here. I will send you a free comic off my show, free of charge to you for every judgment that some fan wins. I don't think I'm going to have to. I don't think I'm going to have to send you any on that. The judge is going to have to fight to keep a straight face.
Fourth 1,000. Hey, it's a win-win for you, man. It's a win-win for you. I love it. Okay, back to so that's that because we still got one topic left. All right. Ryan Hartwell with a $20 super chat. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. That's going to come in handy as I'm going to have to get the timing chain fixed on Tiffany's car. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Every fandom.
What happened to Tiffany's car?
Tiffany's car broke down this week, and I am not a car guy that I fix stuff, right? Like
I am.
It's just not my,
What happened?
Well, you're like a long ways away too, though. And I have friends who are mechanics. I got a really great mechanic that does work for me, and I also got friends who are mechanics, but. When it happened, we took it up to auto parts store and stuff because they got the scanner and everything because it was acting funny and everything. Check engine light came on and stuff. Yeah, AutoZone. We took it up to AutoZone, and so we did that, and so it came back that it was the engine variable timing solenoid. Right,
VVT solenoid.
Yes, the VVT solenoid. It was both the exhaust.
What's your oil level?
Intake.
What's your oil level? Before I even get any further, is your oil level full?
So I checked it and no, it was not. But
that's the problem. Add some oil, you're good. You don't have to buy no parts.
Well, no. But here's the thing. I added oil to it and it did not fix the problem.
Because you have to clear the coat off.
Well, we did that today. That's what I'm saying. It's like so if you listen to the whole thing, so I put oil in it, and then I had her take it to the auto parts store because I had the problem when I was trying to take the car. And I promise you folks, I will get through this story real quick for Brian to get back to what we're talking. But so
sorry,
I did it. Yeah, no, I did it. We went down there. She didn't even make it back from the auto parts store, and it's just like literally around the corner. It just stalled out, no power to the engine, and just kind of put, right? And she barely made it home, and then the car just died right in the garage. I had to push it 3 feet back into the garage. So when the guy said that there was that, he says, hey, it's an easy fix. You can fix the VVT solenoid really easy. So like I went online and I saw people fixing it and I was like, I can do that. So I jumped in tonight. We had the parts.
Right on the
popped
head.
them in. What's that? Yeah, man. I pulled off the covers,
on
man.
The head of the engine? Yeah.
Dude, I pulled it all out, man. Popped it out, put in the new ones. I was feeling like so macho and so manly, because I've never been a guy who works on cars. I did all that. Tiffany and I like high-fived. Car wouldn't start. So I was like, okay, let's do it again. Let's make sure that we did everything right. Took it all back apart again. Took everything out, made sure everything was snapped in. All the wires were snapped in, plugged in, tightened down real good. Put it all back together. Car still wouldn't start. So I called my buddy who's a mechanic, and he came over and he's looking at it, and he hooked up. He's got a better scanner than AutoZone. So he saw a few more codes that were in there and stuff. And so he's like, okay. He's like, well, you know, it's talking about your map, and it's talking about this and that. And he's like, so, okay. He's like, he's looking at it, and we were having a conversation about it. And he's like, yeah, he's like, well, with this, he says, I think I can fix these other things. You know, he's like, you know, maybe I can come over Saturday and fix it or whatever. And then he stops and he goes, oh, wait, hold on a second. Because he couldn't get it started either. And he goes, hold on a second. And he told his wife to turn over the key because she was over there. And he put his hand up on the side, and you could hear the rattle, and you could feel it banging up against your hand right there. And he's like, dude, he's like, I just thought about this after looking at everything that all these like weird codes that started popping up after we cleared the codes and everything, and it still wouldn't go. He's like, I think your timing chain's gone. And it makes sense because you can hear it. Yeah.
That's not good.
Nope. So, yeah, tomorrow I got to make a phone call. And,
all right, folks, let's get some super chats flowing. All right,
yes.
This man is looking at some like $2,000 worth of automotive repairs.
Wow.
I'm a professional.
That sucks.
I'm not even kidding. It's very expensive to replace. You're basically replacing the motor at that point once the timing chain goes, because a lot of times, it's not no bueno.
Yeah, so I don't know what we're gonna do, but yeah, so. But thank you, Ryan. I appreciate your contribution, my friend. So he says every fandom has its share of toxicity, dating all the way back to Sherlock Holmes. I love when Ryan comes in with this because Ryan brings such a class.
But it shouldn't deflect from the current set of circumstances, and that's what I don't like about this argument.
No.
All fandoms are toxic, yes, but we're not talking about those toxic fandoms. We're talking
but that's not what he's even talking about here, though. I don't think he's saying like all the way back to Sherlock Holmes fandom in the late 1800s that there's always been like this toxicity. But he says even Stephen King's book Misery is a reflection of his fan base when he published Eyes of the Dragon, and that's a good point, actually. I mean, but it goes to the point where it's like it does have to be addressed.
But I'm just saying it's not something we should pat ourselves on the backs over.
No.
Like, oh, yeah, we're not as toxic as Star Wars fans. It's like, no, sometimes we cross lines. No.
Yeah, I think anybody can get into a thing where you end up you're like in a you ever like been arguing a point and then all of a sudden you realize like you're in a stupid argument.
Yeah.
And you just kind of stop and go, why am I even like arguing over this, you know? But I think there's a difference between that and then just being so, I mean, to
vile.
be threatening.
Vile is
yes,
the word.
Yes, to be vile and disgusting and make pictures of decapitated directors and threatenings and, you know, and whatever that San Diego Comic-Con thing was, you know. It's just crazy. 4,000 says you need to bypass the compressor, Enosh.
Or air conditioning, Jack. We're not talking about that.
It's the Star Wars reference. It's Rey. Remember in The Force Awakens when she looks at Han and goes, he's like, how'd you do that? She's like, I bypassed the compressor.
Holding a broken piece of the starship.
Right. No, that's great. Asking a man about his oil level in front of other people. Naughty Brian.
Hey-o! It's my job, bro. I work in an auto parts store.
Yeah, I'll be changing fuses. I'll be doing it's a 2015 Equinox.
I'll be here to hold your hand.
Yeah. Well, that is the newer car. That is the newer car, and I need that one to be working because my van just went over 200,000 miles. So yeah, I don't need to be having all that. Yeah, that Ryan says, yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, no, I don't think he was making that that point. Is just this stream is sponsored by O'Reilly's Auto Parts.
No.
Okay. All right. So, last but not least, last but not least, we celebrated what would have been Stan Lee's 100th birthday. And found out that there is apparently a documentary coming out on Disney Plus in 2023 about Stan Lee. Now, I am, first of all, I mean, nobody can ever take away from what Stan Lee has meant to comics, what he's meant to fandoms. I'm really interested to see what this documentary is about, and here's why. You guys all remember last year my family went to Chicago, and we went to one of the museums there, and they had the traveling Marvel, stuff. And I'm just throwing this out there. This is not a disrespectful thing towards just Stan Lee, because it's not Stan Lee's fault. I don't think. But it was interesting because they had all this stuff about Stan Lee, and like they had one little tiny desk thing that said something about Jack Kirby. Like, of all the characters that he created, of all the things that he did, it was like minimalized. And Stan was just all over everything. And I don't really know where I'm going with this, but because I didn't really plan on taking this, but I was just thinking about that. Like, I'm wondering what this documentary is going to be, because if you didn't know who Jack Kirby was, going to that thing, you would have never known that Jack Kirby had anything to do with that. You know what I mean? Like, you would have never known that who he was, or what he created, or what he, gave his insight to. But yet they had like video play. They had like a video wall that had like every appearance that Stan Lee made in all the MCU movies, right? And pop culture. They had him hanging out with Kiss. They had him like with girls and, in limos, and like the 70s, era Stan Lee and all that stuff, And so like, I'm really interested to see what kind of documentary Disney Plus puts together for that. But I mean, nonetheless, we lost something very important with Stan Lee. And
I'm so glad I got a chance to meet him. I got my picture. I put that picture out today on my Instagram.
Dude's a treasure, man.
Yeah, when I got to meet him in 2017, 7 days before his wife of 67 years passed away. I met him 7 days before that happened, and then less than a year later, he was gone. But as far as the Jack Kirby thing goes, I remember you bringing this up before. Listen, Jack, if there's Jack Kirby's name belongs at a certain level, because he was part of the creation of what spawned half of all of comic bookdom. But Jack Kirby wasn't that kind of person. Jack Kirby at that time was an instrument to get to that level. Stan Lee was the engine. Stan Lee was everything. Jack Kirby's platform was created. I mean, he was the guy who made all these deals and sat in all these meetings and actually got the financiers and got everything. He was Marvel Comics. Jack the King Kirby is a legend, but when you think of Marvel Comics, you think of Stan Lee first and foremost. Period. That is where his a lot of it is because Jack Kirby passed away decades ago too, as well. But he wasn't that kind of person. He wasn't the most vocal person. You didn't really hear about what Jack Kirby was feeling about comic book companies he was working until he left Marvel and went to DC. And that was 30 years into the game. But the face of Marvel was Stan Lee. The voice of Marvel was Stan Lee. It wasn't Jack Kirby.
Excelsior. Right?
Yeah, that was he was Marvel Comics.
That was him. Like, yeah, we knew it by that.
And I'm not no disrespect to Jack Kirby, of course, but when that piece on the wall, that is proportionate to who meant what to Marvel Comics. Jack Kirby was an artist. He was a co-creator, but Stan Lee was the engine. He was the pitcher. And you feel that now, even 5 years after he's passed. I bring up Jack Kirby on the daily because I that as a comic book geek, he holds that part in my heart for me. But he wasn't a pop culture icon. Stan Lee was.
Yeah.
So yeah,
no, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. It's just that like as a comic book geek, which I love. There's a certain person who like doesn't listen to our streams, William, doesn't listen to a word you say, doesn't listen to a word that I actually say, but they leave comments afterwards. And I love how like the guy said something about today. I left a comment something about on one of the videos that said, "Oh, Enosh read the death of Superman, and thinks that he knows about comic books, and attacks anybody who thinks that Superman doesn't kill." And I'm like, dude, come check my comic books. Tell me what I read. Literally, a lifelong Superman fan, know the ins and outs of Superman, and then it said something about you. Something similar, that like you don't know about comics. And I'm like, dude literally owns a comic book store.
Yeah. And
comics is his life. Comics is my life. Go check my long boxes, buddy. Or shut up and sit down. Don't tell me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's comic. How many times have we had conversations like that where it's like we talk about what's in the comics compared to what we see on the screen, or what's this and what's that. So for me, as a comic book guy, I really appreciate what, Jack Kirby brought to it. My thing was I was only disappointed in just the fact that it was just like, yeah, I get it that Stan Lee was the public face, and I'm not begrudging him that. And like I said, that wasn't like a,
yeah, I know what you mean.
But that wasn't a thing to be like Stan Lee doesn't deserve it. That's not what I was saying. It was just that like gosh, man, there's so many of those characters that like even this article talks about, like, Stan Lee co-created, these characters. And yes, he was the public face, and he was, the guy, out there promoting Marvel, and, and obviously Marvel would not be what it is without Stan Lee, obviously. But man, it just left a weird taste in my mouth after being at that exhibit, honestly, because gosh, man, it was just such an afterthought, of these great creations, but
unfortunately that's what he has become, because he was an artist. Same thing with Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko would shy away from the public. But when you look at it, when you're building these monuments and you're talking about Stan Lee, you're talking about him in the modern age, in the modern era. And Jack Kirby does not resonate to the modern era fan, especially the majority of the people who even go to these movies and even know what a comic book is because of a movie. Jack Kirby he's on, when you look at Black Panther, Jack Kirby's name is on all these movies. He's on Avengers, he's on all these movies, but the average fan doesn't know who Jack Kirby is, unfortunately. The hardcore geek like me knows. I mean, we don't have half of comic bookdom without Jack Kirby, his co-creations. So yeah, it's a weird, like I said, whenever it comes to the first thing you learn when you step into a comic book store as a fan is that all interpretations of the character are on the table, and they stay on the table. They are never taken off the table. Your version of what Superman is your version. It never goes away. My version and my interpretation of Superman is mine. It never goes away. All interpretations are on the table, and you should never. The cardinal sin, especially as a fan who wants to sit at a comic store all day, or as an owner, you never tell someone that their interpretation is off the table. Even the animated series, which I've stated, I have no use for 90s animation. But if that's your Superman, if that's how you got into the game, that is yours forever. And no fan should ever tell somebody they don't know enough about the genre because of the particular type of Superman that they.
I've never read a comic book in my entire life.
Most people haven't, to be honest with you.
But yeah, I'm on here all the time talking about comic book movies, because comic movies are different than the comic books because they're adaptations.
Exactly, they're movies.
Look, I do believe though that you can make an argument a lot of times, right? Because I agree with you in integrity. I don't think that everybody has to know about comic books. Okay, but I do think though that there are a lot of people in this space that start to argue points and say that these characters are this way or that way, and they don't want to take into account literally how these characters were created and the medium in which they grew and they became beloved in. before they ever were a movie or a TV show or a cartoon or anything like that. It's just like people just today leaving comments here on the channel talking about Christopher Reeve as Superman, talking about his version of Clark Kent, that is hands down the best because it's the real version of who Clark Kent is.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Clark Kent has never been portrayed that way.
Can we? It's
never.
An opinion. It's an opinion.
Yeah, it's an opinion.
It is an opinion. It is an opinion. But what I'm saying is, what I'm saying, it's not a fact. And so the only time I bring up comic books and having comic book knowledge is with people who want to argue stupid points and act like something is a fact that's just never been a fact. You know what I mean? Like you can literally look at the history of Superman and Clark Kent and look at the 50s, George Reeves. George Reeves played a very cool, calculated Clark Kent who, for his time, was a dude's dude, man. That guy, like, he's constantly taking jabs at Lois, like teasing Lois stuff because he knows he's Superman, winking at the camera and stuff like that, you know. But you didn't see him bumbling around and acting like an idiot, you know, and tripping.
Like Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, but Christopher Reeve did a specific thing because they wanted to do that to show the difference between Clark and Superman, but also in that movie, but also in that series of movies, Superman is the real character.
Well, I mean, we're talking about a guy whose main disguise is a pair of glasses
and a hat in some cases. But here's the thing,
right?
Whatever interpretation you want to view these characters. Like I said, I had somebody on my stream the other day say that, you know, Batman the animated series and Superman the animated series in the 90s were the definitive Batman and Superman stories. I wanted to throw up in my mouth and on the stream because, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, the definitive Batman is The Dark Knight Returns. The definitive Superman is from 1975, comic book wise, all the way through the late 80s. That's for me. My Batman beats the hell out of people and carries a shotgun.
Right.
My Batman has blood on his gauntlets. My Batman beats the hell out of the Joker and has a Joker in his atmosphere that is batshit crazy. That's my Batman. That soft shit soft stuff that you guys got in the 90s, I'm okay with that being your Batman, but that ain't mine. But it's cool because we have these characters that have been around so long that we can look through the different lenses. I think that should be appreciated and not used as a tool to divide people. I mean, that's where I come. Like I said, I openly laugh at Batman the animated series. That's where it is in my lore. But I understand that for some people, that's the first Batman that they saw. So congratulations. We all came to the Batman table one way or another. We all got here.
Okay, I'm going to I'm going to hold that thought. Draga, you know I love you, man, but you're going too far. I am not going to. I didn't time you out. Somebody else timed you out, but they timed you out for a purpose. They timed you out for a reason. Hold on. I know you did. Hold on. I got this. I got it though. I got it. I saw exactly what happened. Draga, people have different opinions, okay? And I can guarantee you one thing right now. I'm not saying this as somebody who's like, oh, I love James Gunn. James Gunn is my hero, whatever. But all this stuff about James Gunn calling him names and all those things, first of all, it doesn't solve anything for anybody.
And there's no proof.
Hold on. Let me take care of this, Brian. I got this. Okay. Sorry, so here's the thing. It doesn't solve anything for anybody, Draga, right? It doesn't, or Axel, it doesn't make anything better. There are things that people have said. There are things that people have done, and you know what? And then there's whole casts of movies that have come forward and said that they don't feel that he's that way, and literally said that they would not come back to the movie if he wasn't allowed back on as director. Okay, there are people who are vetting him and doing things that are totally above mine and your pay grade. And I'm not defending the man. I'm not saying the man is innocent. I'm not saying the man is or isn't whatever you've acclaimed that he is. But here's the point: you cannot call people names in this chat and make derogatory things up about people, especially my guests or people in the chat who are just having a conversation. Call them names, say derogatory things about them, or say derogatory things about people in the comments, because that is not what that's not what this is for. And so yes, you got timed out. I didn't time you out. Brian timed you out, but he should have timed you out. And here's the thing, going on about that stuff, I guarantee you, all the Snyder fans out there who are complaining about James Gunn right now and bringing up these things about his past and all these things like that, not one of them would be making those complaints if day one he had come on and said, hey, guess what? I just brokered a deal with Zack Snyder, and we're going to bring back the Snyderverse, and we're going to complete this. It's hypocritical, my friend. And I just tell you that as your friend, okay? I've had you on the show many times. I like you. This isn't because I don't like you. It's just because I see it happening in the chat, dude, and it's got to stop. It just has to stop. We got to get along with people and stop trying to like infuriate people and like have a comeback to everything and just like go on and on and on and on and on about something, right? Okay, we get it. You don't like James Gunn. You don't have to like James Gunn, dude. I'm not telling you to like James Gunn. I could be sitting here, like I said, 3 or 4 years from now, watching what James Gunn does and watching his movies and totally hate him. But you know what? I could also be sitting here going, you know what? I like the movies.
Grow up about it.
I mean that it's a thing of there's a lot of people who have a lot more knowledge about what James Gunn is really about, other than some tweets and some other things that God only knows, that have had to go through that process. Not me, not you, not everybody else who's just mad at him right now because they didn't get what they wanted. That's my point. That's my only point. It's hypocritical for people to start name calling and dropping all the pedo stuff and all that stuff, when the fact of the matter is nobody would be saying that if he had just brought Zack Snyder back. People are just mad because he didn't. So here's the thing. Wait and see, and then judge the stuff.
No.
Judge the stuff by its own integrity. Okay.
God dang.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And then I'm dropping it. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I would just ask that if that when you leave comments, let it be something that's adding to the conversation. Don't get into a fight with Brian or anybody else. Add something to the conversation that's going to be something good and that people are going to be able to enjoy. Okay. And we're going to finish out this conversation. Thank you, Zeno. I appreciate that. I look cool.
You do. You look smarter. Intelligent. Intelligente. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Give it to him.
There you go. All right. But yeah. So as far as this right here goes. So yeah. So this is coming out. Let's see. It says Marvel revealed a documentary about Stan Lee coming to Disney Plus in 2023 on Wednesday. What would have been his 100th birthday. The entertainment company posted the teaser for the project, simply titled Stan Lee, on its Instagram account with the caption 100 years of dreaming, 100 years of creating, 100 years of Stan Lee. In November 2018, Lee died at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles at the age of 95. Marvel plans to celebrate the late Marvel plans to celebrate the late comic book writer, editor, publisher, and producer's legacy as the co-creator of iconic characters including Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Black Panther, Hulk, X-Men, Thor, Silver Surfer, Ant-Man, Nick Fury, and more. Lee began working at Timely Comics, Marvel's predecessor, in 1939. Throughout the next several decades, he went from interim director to editor. In the 60s, he became the writer and editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics before being named publisher in 1972. He eventually became the face of the company and an inspiration to comic book lovers worldwide. Lee also made numerous cameo appearances in Marvel film and television projects throughout his life. Stan Lee was as extraordinary as the characters he created. Disney CEO Bob Iger said in a statement following his death, a superhero in his own right to Marvel fans around the world. Stan had the power to inspire, to entertain, and to connect. The scale of his imagination was only exceeded by the size of his heart. So, yeah. So we have.
Can I put a picture up real quick? Can I show you this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2017, June of 2017, right there. Yeah, got a chance to meet him. It was the whole reason I showed up. This is the convention that had Todd McFarlane, that had Rob Liefeld, that had Kevin Eastman, who gave us a bunch of cool stuff regarding his table because we were volunteers because they needed big bulky guys to handle. You know, he was very frail, but he was walking around on his own, and he was cool to escort around. He was cool, and all those people were there. Tom McFarlane, all those guys, but all those guys are in their late 50s, mid 60s, And I knew this was it. This was going to be the opportunity. He was 94 at the time. And I didn't know if I was going to get another chance. So I made it a point to not only get into this convention, but to be in a position to where I could actually meet him. I didn't get an autograph, but I didn't need one. Yeah. The picture was enough. And like I said, it was cool. And we, from here, we took him to the stage for Todd McFarlane's expose. I got pictures of that too.
That's awesome. Yeah. You know, he was at Motor City Comic Con a few years ago, and the line was so ridiculously long that, I mean, for anybody just going for a day, you know, like,
yeah,
am I lagging?
No, it's a slight delay. I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, the line was so long. It's just it was crazy. Okay. Well, Draga gave a super chat. So, thank you, Draga. I appreciate the super chat. He says, "Look, Enosh, I'm sorry for coming on here to start this, but like I just said, I don't like James Gunn or his fans. I didn't want to start anything, so I won't come on here to start stuff again. Look, man, listen.
I'm not a James Gunn fan. You don't need to disrespect me, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like nobody's.
He
telling
does it
you to
all
go
the
away.
time, and that's what pisses me off.
Draga, nobody's telling you to go away, bro. Nobody's telling you to not come back or any of that stuff like that. It's just that look, you're gonna encounter.
If anything, I'll leave.
No, look, nobody's leaving. Nobody's leaving. Listen, here's the thing. We got to respect each other. When we come into the lounge, we understand that everybody has a different opinion, right? And the thing is, look, unless we have firsthand knowledge of something, it's all of our opinions are based upon things you see on social media or you hear people talk about or like other people complain about or whatever. All I'm saying is that don't get into the name calling, some of the stuff that was used in there. Like it's just not productive, man. It's just not productive to conversation. And nobody's saying that you have to like James Gunn, dude. You don't have to like James Gunn, dude. You can completely hate James Gunn and tweet that you don't like him and everything else, dude. And it's fine. As long as you're not doing like some of these people that I'm seeing and like saying just hateful things and damaging things. Okay?
Wishing death on the man.
Wishing death upon, like I've literally seen Snyder fans, supposed Snyder fans.
I wish the tree would fall on him.
Yeah, talking about like wishing that like
me?
something could happen to him so that we could just get Cavill back. And that kind of stuff, man, is just, it's counterproductive to what we say we love.
And it's not us. It's not us. We know it is us. What we did the other night, or what we supported the other night, Saturday night.
You guys need to learn how to differentiate. So, like when I say, "Hey, man, some of y'all Snyder fans need to chill out," I'm not talking about you guys. You get it? Like,
yeah. 4,000 says, "Bring that photo up." Stan Lee was leaning away from William.
Yeah, he's like,
actually,
who's this dude?
Okay, so here's the thing about that picture.
COVID?
He's 90. No, because this is pre-COVID. He's
That's cool, 90, bro. I respect that. Just, you know what? Yeah, man. Stuff that, stuff that starts.
It's okay.
Causing
dude, I'm Drogo. I'm leaving in like 3 days. Like the first of the year, I'm done with YouTube. Like kaputs. I'm completely out. Like I'm done doing this shit. So
I'll see you. I'll see you in February. homie, because we got to talk
Star Trek starts back up again.
Drag you out. But hey, about that picture with Stan Lee, the reason why I got that position was because if any of you have ever been to a comic book convention, it is before COVID. It was wall to wall crowded people. He's a 95-year-old man. Just the slightest bump could knock him over and kill him. So it was me and another guy that was about 6'4", and we basically we had him so that nobody could get to him. And you had to go in there. You had to put all your belongings on one table, and you had to go in there. You had 2 seconds. You knelt down next to him. You weren't allowed to touch him, and you took your picture, and you got up and you went out, and that's what I had. The only reason I had a little bit longer, I followed the rules, is because once he got up, we had to escort him onto a stage, and I'll bring that picture up one of these days where I'm escorting him to the stage where Todd McFarlane is waiting for him, which I thought was surreal. Robin was on that. The original Robin from the TV show was there. Both Catwomen were there. Adam West was supposed to be there, and he died 2 weeks earlier. And I got
to meet Adam West.
Yeah, and his seat was open. Ward. They kept his seat open. They didn't fill his seat. So the 2 Catwomen were there. Burt Ward was there, and then an empty seat for where Adam West would have sat, and then Ray Park was on the other side. And I had my back to them the whole time because they didn't have partitions. And people were they see these guys and they just want to rush them. and they didn't have partitions. And I had to shove so many of my fellow comic book fans that day politely away. I'm like, dude, you bump into this little guy, you're going to knock him over. And we were just like, it was like a tackle. It was like I was a nose tackle for a football team. Just had to make sure that he had enough room because he wasn't on his little wheelchair. He was walking on his own. So it was cool. And I make it say, when they gave us, they walked over to us and it said, hey, go ahead and kneel down, take a picture with him real quick. Before we go, it was cool because I was willing to pay that $125 for that picture, but they said, "No, here you go." And it was a cool convention. I mean, it was cool meeting him because that was my sole reason for being there. I can see all those other guys at other conventions, and I've met Rob Layfield. I met all these other guys. McFarlane, he was 94 years old, and like I said, 7 days later, he lost his wife. Less than 10 months later, or a little bit over, he was gone himself. So I was so happy I was able to get there in that convention. I have that picture up on my wall. When you walk in the store, as soon as you open the door, you look up. That picture that I just put on there, along with the program from that convention, is sitting right on my wall. So, and then today being the 100th anniversary, like I said, I posted it on my stream. It was like, dude, the guy was a living legend.
Heck yeah, he was.
Macho Man. Now, Macho Man did not have a life. Yeah.
Snap into a slime gime. A grease stick, if you were.
You know what? Are we playing the belt game? Because I can pull out some belts.
Yeah, but I got the best
belt,
one.
The New Japan belt, the freaking WCW.
Yeah, you can have all those belts done. I don't even care about all those belts. I don't care about all those belts.
Don't make me go get that.
Winged Eagle belt right there, baby.
No, trust me, it's up there with me. It's my next belt, but the big gold belt is wrestling.
That's fine, itself. Dude. But this belt is the only belt, dude.
The big gold belt.
The big gold belt does mean something, and I will give you that. But this was the belt of my childhood. This was the champion's belt.
That was the Bret the Hitman Hart belt with the
Ric Flair's belt.
Respect. I'm singing a song because I'm Bret the Hitman Hart, and I'm
intense. Like I said, it's up there. It's number 2 for me. But number 1 is
Shawn Michaels ruined that belt for me, guy. No.
Posing naked with it. Yeah, I could have done without that. But that's who he was at the time.
Just a bit.
But look, I got something that Wonder Meg also doesn't have. I'm going to add this to the thing. I have the
Terrence Stamp,
the Lex Luthor, right? That Wonder Meg famously has wanted and threatened stealing out of my house.
Yeah, we're coordinating as we speak.
But now, General Zod has joined Lex.
Kneel before Zod.
Meg, if you're watching, we're gonna make this happen, and I'm taking that belt with me.
Okay, first off, you guys gotta kind of chip in so I can come up there and raid his ass too.
There we go. Yeah, we're gonna have a cover.
Zod, and you know what's cool? He comes with like all these cool things. Like this thing slips out. And it looks like the bookcase from the inside.
The president's office.
The inside looks like the White House, which is pretty cool. It looks like the president's office.
Oh, it's the Oval Office. That's
neat. Yeah,
it's Planet Houston.
But you got this little thing, right? You got this little thing, and it opens up, and then on the inside,
I've never watched a Superman movie before, guys. Right. I get it.
Right, but so in here you got the stand for whatever, but it's cool because it's got the shotgun that he uses his heat vision on. It's got the M16 that he snaps in half, and he's got extra hands and stuff like that. So, yeah. And what's really cool is a lot of people don't realize that
you will bow before me, Terrell. If not, one day your ass.
I remember being a kid thinking that he swore there.
Right?
I was like I never understood why is his ass gonna bow before you? Then one day your ass. You will bow down before me, Jor-El, and then one day your ass.
What? I thought this movie was for kids.
Yeah, what? Who? Wait, what movie did I put in?
It really takes a lot of effect out of the kid falling in Niagara.
I have all the cups from that movie. I have all the cups from Superman 1 and 2. The glasses that came out.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That movie was 6-year-old me. That movie was everything. Superman 2 was even more so than Superman 1 because I didn't see Superman 1 in the movies.
Was my favorite movie of all time. That's why when we watched the Donner cut of 2, I was like, bruh, what is this?
Yeah, put that back in its shell. I know people fought for it, but the cut that made the theaters was the
Richard Lester. Cut. I'm sorry, guys.
I mean,
I will just say this.
This is
one of the things that I like. One of the things I like about this is the fact that it has something that because I have another Zod action figure, and it's not like this. And a lot of people miss this point from the movie, and that is that the black has the red, the crimson, reflection pieces that you can only see in like direct sunlight. It just people think that it's just all black, and it's not.
Nah,
you know?
Yep.
And so
listen, Terrence Stamp played the iconic Zod. Michael Shannon's, it made him more complete Zod. I felt when Zod at the end, at the end when he says everything I've done was for the sake of my people. You know, we could have had a paradise, but you chose. I mean, I love him as Zod in that one.
Well, see, I got action figures too, but my nephews are a little shit sometimes. So like, so this is the Zack Snyder's Justice League Batman. My nephew's got a hold of. I mean, thankfully. Oh wait, where is that? Oh shit! I was gonna. Oh no, Cyborg's still in the box, guys.
Hey,
it's the only one. Thank you, Enoch.
Cyborg, you're welcome, man. You know, it just goes to show you, people really do win at the Poindexter Lounge.
I didn't win this. I got this.
Oh, that's right. I just bought that for you, didn't I?
Part of the Pantheon.
That's right.
Still
that's win. Right. That's right. That R2 poster back there was something you won.
Yes, I won the R2 poster, guys. I am a Poindexter Lounge winner. Okay,
you are.
It exists.
And then I saw the Cyborg, and I knew that you wanted one, and I was like, you know what? I'm getting him. I'm buying.
It was the only one besides Aquaman that I didn't have, and I don't know what happened to my Black Suit Superman. It got my nephews. They had better ideas.
For sure. But hey, so that is we're at the 3-hour 45-minute mark. We've I started late tonight. I started at 1 a.m. and so I figured I'd get ahead of William, because I knew if I didn't start something soon, William was going to do an overnight show, because
you stole my spot.
You can't allow the 100th birthday of your hero, without you doing a show. So I'm glad, but I saved that part for you, William.
Oh, thanks.
I didn't jump into that right away, man. I saved that for you because I love you.
Hopefully this documentary doesn't cover the last year of his life with the daughter being taken to the cleaners by these strange people. I really hope. I know it's true. I know it's out there. I know it's part of the reality, but I don't want to remember him that way, with people taking advantage of him like they were, using his blood to sell collectibles and stuff. Oh, it was just so creepy. And and it's like I just want to hurt those people who are doing that.
Yeah.
It's like,
no, it's crazy. But hey, you know what? One thing that we need to do before we go tonight, we're gonna get a Betty Whiteism.
Wow, it is.
Yeah, we lost her about a year ago, right around this time, didn't we?
Yep. Let's see.
Yeah. I'm just glad 2022 is almost over, guys. It was a shite year for me.
It'll never be as bad as 2020 was. 2020 sucked in so many ways. Like it's gonna take a really hard year to ever get back to 2020's awfulness.
Yeah. No, that's all right. I just lost a good parent that actually cared.
Oh, that's right. You lost earlier this year.
My dad died in March.
Yep. Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a bad year, guys. It's cool. I don't want to dwell on it. Betty White.
Okay, Betty White. First of all, little Betty White factoid. On May 8th, 2010, at the age of 88, Betty White became the oldest person to ever host Saturday Night Live, after a grassroots Facebook campaign gathered so much attention that producer Lorne Michaels was persuaded to make it happen. The appearance garnered Betty her 5th Primetime Emmy.
That's cool.
And that was a great episode of Saturday Night Live, by the way.
I don't think I watched it.
They pulled out all the stops. They pulled out all the stops for that. Like, there were old cast members that were coming back because they just wanted to be in a sketch with Betty White. Yeah. And she was freaking hilarious that night. I mean, just dirty, raunchy, funny, because she had a delivery that was just great. But I would love to get the same kind of grassroots effort thing to get Weird Al Yankovic to host Saturday Night Live.
I'm surprised he hasn't. That's
me too.
Shocking.
I especially with the fact that he stepped away from doing music for a long time to do other media stuff. I'm really surprised that they've never really had him on Saturday Night Live. But
yeah, he has something to promote. I mean,
I know
things to promote.
Well, no, he has had stuff to promote though, but he just hasn't released any more albums, and he may not release any more albums. He's talked about how when he does stuff now, it'll just be probably like, per song, kind of like how people do it nowadays, but I don't know, who knows? Because he doesn't want to sign another record deal is the thing. But one quote here from her is, we didn't have Facebook in my day. We had a phone book, but you wouldn't waste an afternoon on it.
No, probably like 10 minutes trying to find a pizza place that was local.
And the white pages, if you needed to find somebody, you had to hope they were listed.
Mm-hmm. And let's see. Then she said, well, I mean, if a joke or humor is bawdy, it's got to be funny enough to warrant it. You can't just have it bawdy or dirty just for the sake of being that. It's got to be funny. Gosh, more people could really learn from that. I'll say that. More people could really learn from that. That being said, I think that completes this episode of the Poindexter Lounge. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to everyone out there for being you. All right, and so we gave this bad boy away. Hopefully, who won this? Let me go back here. I had it up here, but I finally gave this thing away, man. I told you I was going to. It was. Hold on a second. Who was it? It was Sith Holocron. That's right. It was Sith Holocron. And so Sith Holocron.
Congrats.
Yes, congrats. Just get a hold of me on social media. Somehow all of our links are down below, and we will get this bad boy to you. This is our next giveaway. Right here is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. It's Raphael in this. It looks like a cereal box, but it's not. I'll give you a little close-up. So there, it's got 31 points of articulation. Comes with 3 different heads, I believe. Size, all different hands, everything like that. And then it opens up. It displays really, really nice. As you can see right here. Look at that guy. It's a cool, maybe it's just 2 different heads. Yeah, it's just 2 different heads. But it's a very, very, very cool thing. And yeah, so there you go. And so that is open for anybody who gives a super chat or is a member or part of the Patreon. So thank you guys so much. And thank you to everyone who watches. Thank you for all of your love and for all your messages. I get the messages you guys send me, and I really appreciate when you guys, tell me, hey man, Enosh, we miss you. It's been a while since we've seen you, and I'll just say this. In the last few months, I have been on a journey of discovery with myself of like what's important to me. And I know what's important to me. I know what's important to me. And I know that, life matters and people matter. Real people matter, and treating people right matters. And internet stuff is not real life. It's not.
What?
Yeah. It's
Get
not.
out of here.
And you know what? You got to appreciate life. And I do appreciate what Max said earlier, because Max did bring up a good point that for a lot of people, like
I need to talk to the man.
We talk about people being, I talk a lot about this being our nerd family, and you are our nerd family. And you know what? I do take that seriously. And I realize that there's people who this is your, outlet. And I can appreciate that. But let's treat people with respect. Let's treat people with love. Let's not hide behind a keyboard or a screen and act like the things that we say and do don't have any effect on others. I mean, I see people coming here. People try to attack me. They make up fake screen names because they don't have the guts to actually use their real screen name and say who they actually are, because God forbid that we actually knew who they were, making some kind of, statement about me, or, insulting my wife, or, whatever, because of superhero stuff. Guys, can we as the human race just step it up a little bit? You know, I've had people mock me in the last couple months because I'm doing substitute teaching. Do you understand? Substitute teaching is something that you do.
What a piece of junk, dude!
Right, when you care.
Gosh,
like the first time I saw that, the first time I saw somebody literally like come in and start mocking me for being a substitute teacher, I went, "Wow,
you must not like substitute teachers."
That must be a miserable existence that you have. If you're literally going to mock somebody for caring enough to help people, like I help teach special ed, so it's like I'm working with kids and adults and stuff, people who really need help, and they're helping them learn. And I'm sorry, but you know what? You can mock me all you want and call me whatever you want, but you know what? It doesn't matter when I'm sitting there during an hour sitting with a kid helping him do math problems and he's excited about it. Because he's into nerd stuff. He's into superheroes. I love it. I got this one kid, Brian. I literally walk in. He knows about all the DC stuff because he watches YouTube, and he's learning to read still. So he can't necessarily read comic books very well, but he watches like the channels that like do breakdowns of like stories and stuff. So like he'll come in and he always wants to debate me about who could beat Superman, right? And it's great because I will say something to him about, well, what about this? And he'll say, okay, but what about this character at this maximum level and stuff? And it's so cute. But that he does that, and then he's like, okay, I'm ready to do math now. Right? Because it's hyped him up about something, and you
get excited about it. Yeah.
Exactly. So you know what? So the thing is just understand that I have a love for life, for people, and I enjoy what I do here. And you're not going to silence me. So, that's just how
it's like Mason Puff Daddy saying, "Ain't nobody going to break my stride. Ain't nobody going to hold me down." Oh no, that's right. I got to keep moving.
Right. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, Daniel. I really do. But yeah, so you know what? Let's just keep things going. Follow this guy over here, Sci-Fi Center. He's got his own YouTube channel. Does his stuff over there too. So
are the names up? Oh, the names are gone.
Oh yeah, I think I took it because the thing was I went to a different thing. So there you go.
There you go.
So there you go. Go follow him at the Sci-Fi Center. Brian, what are you doing right now?
Nothing. As a matter of fact, come the 1st, I'm gonna take a break. I think it's time. Been doing this for 2 years, and it's been a fun ride, but I've got so many personal things that I've been neglecting, and so
okay.
Anywhu, just rejoice.
Well, you do what you need to do, brother. Make sure that you're just healthy and everything's going good, and you know what? Come back to us stronger than ever. That's what I say, man. You know what? Or just do it as you can. You know what I mean? Do what you're able to do. So, but yeah, go follow these guys. Go support the people that we stream with and everything. And Jimbo was in here for a second. Go follow Jimbo's got some great video game stuff that he does here on the channel. Follow him, and yeah, we just love you, and we're grateful for all of you guys who come and spend some time with us here at the lounge. Until next time, it's like I always say, don't let anybody tell you that your fandom doesn't matter, and don't tell anybody that their fandom doesn't matter, or that, just trying to show somebody up. But treat people with respect. Seek to have good conversations, and treat people like you'd want to be treated. All right? Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to everyone who gave super chats tonight. You guys are awesome. And, hey, Draga, no problem, bro. It's love here. You know what? We just have those conversations because we got to have those conversations sometimes. And you know what? I thank you for that. I thank you for the apology. And, hey, let's just treat each other let's just treat each other the best way that we could possibly treat each other, because we never know when our last day here on this planet is. I'll tell you what, I want to leave a good legacy, and I want people to remember me one day that I did everything I could to try to bring people together and stand up for what I believed in. And I hope that that's you too. And if it is, there'll always be a place in the Poindexter Lounge for all of you. Until next time, stay nerdy. Bye-bye.